All right, good evening, everyone. And this is day two. I think I'm very audible, right? This is day two of the startup conference, right? I shared yesterday night why we're doing what we're doing. We are doing this to empower and to equip African businesses so that they can do more, right? They can achieve their productivity, profitability, and they can improve on their performance. My name, one more time, is Bolaji Babalola. I was there yesterday and I had two amazing speakers with me yesterday. But tonight, guess what? We are going to have three amazing speakers. Funke Ho is coming, that's what we call her. Then Sheyi Agbede is coming. Then the energetic EJ is coming also. So it's going to be amazing. You're going to have them. And I really I've got a lot of feedbacks from yesterday, people sharing with me how they've learned new things and how some of the things we said would help them solve their challenges, right? Quite a lot of people, all of us, we have difficulties most times in business, and just one information or one insight from someone helps us to get rid of all these problems, right? So I want to welcome you again to the second day, which is the final day, and it's loaded. It's loaded. I won't say more than that. But before I bring on Funke, who our first speaker, I'm going to be reading her profile soon. But before I do that, I want to actually speak to entrepreneurs on this call. I promised yesterday I was just going to do 2 minutes, 3 minutes before I bring her on. And let me quickly talk to you. I want to talk to you about the two kinds of entrepreneurs we have, right? The two kinds of entrepreneurs we have. Now, you fall into this category. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, you fall into this category. And I need you to pay attention, because if you don't know which one you are, you might not know how to handle most of the things you do, right? There are two types of entrepreneur, regardless of who you are. The first one is the one that plays in the survival mode. The second one is the one that plays in the significance mode, right? So let me explain that. Everyone is running. All of us, we are running. We are running. But the difference is some are running from a place, some are running to a place. Some are running from a place, some are running to a place. Now, let me quickly explain, because you are likely to be one of these two. As a matter of fact, not likely, you are one of these two. You are either running to a place or you're running from a place. Because of time, I won't be able to go so deeply into it, but it's in my book, 14 Days MBA. I shared a lot about it and how it could help you build your brand. Now, so the first one is the people running away from something. They are running away from a place, right? These people, they play in the survival mode. They play in the survival mode. This kind of entrepreneur, they are always comparing and fighting for things. They are always comparing themselves to their neighbor. They are running away from a place. They are trying to forget an history. They are trying to forget an experience. They are trying to forget a lifestyle. They are running away from it. Maybe they are looking at their uncle or they are looking at their parents and they are like, I don't want to live this kind of a life my parents live, right? So these kind of entrepreneurs, they went into business for survival mode. Now, to be very honest, most of us, we go into business because we just want something better, right? A lot of people start from there. But it's a terrible thing if you end there. Now, let me quickly explain how you know where you belong. I use this as an example every time I have to teach this. I don't know how many of you on this call have been chased by a dog before, right? You've been chased by a dog. Listen carefully. If you are chased by a dog, you know the only thing in your mind, or on top of your mind at that moment, is survival, right? So this is it. Now let me talk about the people, and you figure out where you belong. The first thing they do is that they are running away from something. Like I said earlier, there's something behind them that is how do I put it now? They're afraid of, yeah, that gets on the nerve or that's always pushing them. They are just running away from something. So the second thing is they are always looking back. So imagine someone being chased by a dog. Where do you think the person will look? He's always gazing back, being mindful of the distance between him and the thing chasing him. If it were to be a rot, you know what I'm talking about. So he's looking at the distance. He's always trying to just gap that thing, to just increase his pace, not because he's going to anywhere in particular, but because he just wants to avoid a lifestyle. So he keeps running. So that's number one. They are always looking back. So there are some kind of entrepreneurs that where they look is always the past. They always pay attention to the past more than they pay attention to the future. The second thing, I said because of time, I'm going to rush this. The second thing is the fact that these kind of entrepreneurs, they use people. They use relationship. Instead of building on relationships, they use relationship. Now let me explain how this come into play. If you're running, a dog is chasing you, and you see someone, probably a big uncle or a friend, somebody bigger than you, you see the person, you know what they do. They run to the back of the person, hold the person at the back. So the person is now in between them and the dog that is barking, the dog that is chasing them. So they hold the person as a shield to block the dog. Listen, there are a lot of entrepreneurs that's what they do. They find a mentor, they find a leader, they find a consultant, they find someone, and they want to use them to block the thing that has been chasing them. They use people instead of building and consolidating relationships. They use relationship. You get what I'm talking about? Now, the third thing is that this kind of entrepreneurs, when they get to a point in their life, they sit down and they feel they have achieved a lot, right? If a dog is pursuing you and at the end of the street, you just turn back and you can't find the dog, the next thing you do is sit down under a tree, under a shade somewhere where you're comfortable, and you sit down and you just feel like, oh, thank God, I'm good, I'm better, and all that. So these kind of people, they have 5 clients, they have 10 clients, they have one store outlet in Lagos or one outlet in Abuja, and they feel like they are just okay, right? They just feel like, at least I'm better from where I'm coming from. You get what I'm talking about? I'm better from where I'm coming from, and that doesn't work that way. So these are few things I need to share with you about the two kinds of entrepreneur. I'm coming back after the first speaker, and I will share the other remaining points. I can share like 7 points for each of these entrepreneurs, and I've just shared 3 with you right now, right? Number one is they're running away from something, from a past, from an experience, from something they dread. Number 2 is that they use people. Then number 3, what did I say just now, is that they rest on their laurels. When they get to a place, they rest on their laurels. So I'm going to share 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll share about the second kind of entrepreneurs. You're going to be one of these two. So it will help you to restructure your business, your idea, your project, regardless of what you do. As a matter of fact, you might not even have a business right now, but that's the kind of a life you live, right? So I'm going to come back after our first speaker, and I'm going to share the remaining with you. So let me bring up our first speaker. Like I said yesterday, she's an amazing woman, intelligent, and she's gone round. I'm going to read her profile, then that she's gone around the world. As a matter of fact, what I'm bringing to you today is I'm bringing a speaker from Rome to you. All right. So let's quickly read her profile. Now, Funke Olusoga Ogunlade is a hospitality and customer experience consultant. Right. Yes, that's it. That she's the CEO of the Funke O Company. She has over a decade experience, and she has graced her way through the ranks with excellence. A graduate of banking and finance and a chartered banker. She found her passion. For hospitality and customer experience early, and has gained knowledge and expertise through experience and studying. She has quite a lot of certification, but let me, because of time, just go through that. She has advanced diploma in hospitality and tourism management from the Institute of Hospitality UK, and a food and beverage management certification facilitated by the University of Bocconi in Italy, right? Other certifications are management of food services and all that. Let me jump that and go to the final part. She's a member of the Women in Hospitality in Nigeria, WIHN, and has been inducted as a member of the Association of Tourism and Hospitality Consultants in Nigeria, HATCON. She has also recently been inducted as a member of faculty in the Rome Business School. Who wants to go to Rome tonight? All right, you don't need to go to Rome tonight. I'm bringing Rome home. I'm bringing Rome to you. So, guys, can you please, tonight, let's welcome Funke Olusoga as she comes to speak to us. Grow Global.
Hello.
That's the ultimate. Funke, are you there? Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yes, I'm
Good
here.
evening.
I'm so excited to be
Good
here. Thank
evening.
you so much, Bolaji. Thank you for this. I'm so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's just a pleasure. It's a privilege to be the one to be doing this. It could have been you also. You do great things, and I'm always following your platform, and I'm excited at
Thank
the
you.
things you do. That's, as a matter of fact, why you are here, because there are a lot of people we could have brought here, but we know that you have the content and you carry a certain grace, right, that these people need. Thank you so much. And here, I hand over the mic to you. Blow us away.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So I have, how many minutes do I have? So as he has explained, I do a lot of teaching and training. So I'm used to this. So I can be here for the next 5 hours if you leave me. But of course, I would have to respect the time that I'm giving. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Bolaji. I really, really appreciate this. And I want to also, appreciate Emeka, Ejiro, Oludayo, and Shei. It's amazing to be on such a platform with you all. I feel really honored. And thank you so much. So a brief more of myself. Bolaji has said a lot, but I've also been inducted as a certified customer experience expert from the Institute of Service in the US. And I remember having to go for this because I always say that the customer is so important. It's so important. And my passion for customer service and hospitality obviously was naturally born. And I will say this because I come from a family of, my dad used to be a bank MD. So I come from a family of finance. All my siblings around me work in the banks up till today, right? Okay, maybe one of them not anymore, but they were all bankers. But for me, it was always about, why do you treat your customers like this? How do you improve customer service? And then having traveled around the world, I see that, especially in Africa, it's a thing where people feel like they are doing you a favor when, you're paying your bills and you're actually trying to get value for your money. And so it got me really interested in this topic of customer service or customer care. And I'm really happy that, this has been put together, because for businesses, I'm sorry, that is me. I've just jumped right in. Okay, introductions are over. my class has started. And I always say the basis of a business is the customer. The basis of a business is the customer. So look at what we're going to be discussing very quickly today. Talking about the customer, who the customer is, types of customers, importance of great customer experience to the global market, customer experience, which we call CX, global experience, which we call GX, and why you should start thinking global as a business owner, and then points to creating great global experience. And then you can ask me questions. So I think this is going to be really interesting. So first things first, who is this customer? Who is this customer? So you see, what I always say is that a lot of people, especially young, starting entrepreneurs, always go to business because of what I feel like doing. And even me that I'm speaking to you, I remember after I had finished my, I became a chartered banker, I started working in the bank, but I had this passion to sell clothes, right? So I will go abroad and I'll buy clothes to sell. I'll go to the UK and buy clothes to sell. And I would always buy my size. In those days, I was a size 8. And then I liked trousers that were like, pencil. I didn't like the boot cut kind of trousers. So I'll buy a lot of those pencil trousers in size 8. And I'll bring them to sell. And guess what? You can already understand what is happening, right? I will wear all the clothes because I wasn't buying things that other people wanted. I wasn't buying thinking of the customer. Steve Jobs said something. He said, when I design thinking of the customer first and then come to the product. Do you understand? So I'm thinking of the customer, and then because I'm thinking of the customer, I'm designing a product for the customer. And that's how we should view business. Think about the customer first, and then think of a product or service that the customer will need, not the other way around. So what we do most times as business owners, is that the first thing is, what do I feel like doing? What do I like doing? If you know what I mean, I'm sure a lot of you will relate. What do I like doing? In fact, people would advise you. I've seen people who say that they are mentoring people, and you hear things like, what are you passionate about? What's your passion? What do you feel like doing? It's not what you feel like doing. Your passion might not be a business. So see me buying clothes in those days, using that example. And I was wearing the clothes and I would complain that, oh, I didn't make my ticket money back. I lost a lot of money because I'm busy buying things that I liked. So think about this. I work in hospitality, so I'm going to be using some examples from hospitality. Think about this. because I like black bed sheets, which, to be honest, as crazy as it sounds, I like black bed sheets. 2 reasons. One, I feel like it gives me a cozy feel. The second thing is that I don't like to see any stain on the bed sheet. So once I just see a small, black just erases it for me. Now, because I like black, I now go and set up a boutique hotel and decide to use black sheets on the bed. And that's what a lot of us do. So think of your customer first before the product, before the service. And when you do this, it helps you tweak your product or your service to fit your customer. So whether locally or globally, what do your customers want? So let's start with the customer. The customer, as I always say, is the lifeblood of the business. In fact, I have this quote that I always read. I remember one CEO saying that, listen, if you don't have customers, then you might as well sack yourself, because they can hire, they can fire you. They can hire you and they can fire you. If there are no customers, there's no business, you can't pay salaries, you can't run a business, you can't do anything. So your customers are the blood, literally, of a business. No customers, business is dead. Except you're in business for your family and friends, okay? But if you're in business for the sole purpose of making an impact and making profit, then you need these people called customers, okay? Now, the reason why thinking about them is important is because their satisfaction is so important. Now, this is not in my note, but I'll say this very quickly. There are 3 levels of customer satisfaction. There's the unsatisfied customer, there's the satisfied customer, and there's the wowed customer. I like to put it that way, the wowed customer. Your aim as a business owner is always to wow your customers. That should be what you're thinking. What can I do now to wow them? Now, customers have expectations, okay? Customers have expectations. And when these expectations that they have, when you meet those expectations, they're satisfied. I mean, this is one of the courses that I'm giving out at a discount. My courses most times are cheap because they're 30 minutes, 1 hour, because I want you to just pick some things and run with it. It's not like a full load course. It's very interesting, very fun, quick. In one of the courses, I explained this in a bit of more detail. So after this, you can go and get it on Seller. And I would explain to you in that course about, what the customer is in detail. So, sorry, take back a bit. Okay, so type of customers. What are your type of customers? The first thing is that you have those we call the new customers. So these people they need your help, okay? Whether they are globally or internationally, these are customers that have come to you and you need to explain to them what you're doing. The second type of customers, which is where all of us should aim to get to, are our loyal customers. These are people that come back. So I always say this to people: never depend on your walk-in customers, your buy-once customers. Those are not even your customers. That's not where you should be aiming. I always say to people, it's not the footfall, it's the loyalists. Some people say, 100 people came into my store today. Okay, out of the 100, how many came back? That's how we measure. Because the 100 might come, have a bad experience, and never come back again. So it's not the footfall, it's your repeat customers. Now, you might say, but the kind of product I sell, we don't need repeat. So for example, I sell luxury cars. Maybe I'm selling Jaguars, right? I know that people don't buy Jaguar every 6 months. But listen, they can be loyalists to you because they will be your advocates, your advertisers. They will go and call their friends and families, and those will buy from you. So those are the kind of people you need. The next type of customers, which is also important, is price-conscious customers. These are people that it's about best value. They're not interested in whether I need it or I don't need it. Please, is there a discount here? Those are the ones that look out for people for posters that will say 50% off, whether it's 50% off or not. As long as it looks like they're getting a deal, they're happy to be there. We have the impulsive customers. These people make quick decisions. And so the reason why this is important for you to know is so that you can navigate with your business, because some businesses require impulsive customers. Some businesses require price-conscious customers. So if I'm selling fast food, for example, you know that my customers are price-conscious. So I can't be selling fast food now and a plate of fast food is 12,000 naira. They're not going to buy. And that means I've positioned myself wrongly, like I said, whether locally or globally. So what kind of customer are you looking for? Impulsive customer, you need to know how to get into their emotions so that they can make quick decisions. A typical example, you're selling candy floss where children are coming. Those children are your impulsive customers, not even the person paying, but the children are your customers. So what do? Oh, hello, you look so nice in your sneakers. Would you like this? My candy is so nice. By the time you speak to the child, the money will come out. These are impulsive customers. They make decisions on the spot. Now, you know that you can't be selling cars and be looking for impulsive customers. So do you understand what I'm saying? This also, I have another course for it, well detailed. But I would just like to, this helps you know the kind of products and positions you. So you know, if this is the product I have, what kind of customers am I looking for? Now, this is the one that people usually ignore, your potential customers. And the reason why I say ignore is because we always wait for people to walk into our doors before we then think of them as customers. Do you know that anybody that can afford your product or service is a customer? As long as they can afford it, they're customers. Whether they live in your state, whether they live in your country, whether they live on the next street, whether they live upstairs your house, as long as they can afford it and they need it, they are your customers. And these are the ones we call the potential customers. Now, what happens is that we ignore these ones. We're looking for those that are working right to us. How about thinking of how to reach these potentials? So they're already customers just because they can be your working customers. We call them potential customers. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I just put, so like I said, there's so many courses that you can go, and this is a short one, but I want to, as much as possible, create value and impact in this class, right? So it'll be quick, but we'll say as much as we can here. What is the importance of great customer experience to the global market? Now, one of the things we need to understand is that, this thing came up a few years ago where they would say, think global, act local, right? And this is because right now the world is a global village. I hope you know that. I can sit here and literally experience Brazil. I can sit here and experience the Maldives. I can sit here and experience the UK so easily. When we were growing up, it was very difficult to even get on the internet. I would have to go and pay somewhere. But now I pick up my phone with 200 naira data or 100. What is 200? 100 naira. I'm able to be all over the world. So we are in a cocoon, if I can put it that way. And so we need to start to take advantage of the people around us. And yes, they are around us, no matter how far you think they are. Okay? So what is the importance of great customer experience to the global market? The first thing, definitely increased revenue. Increased revenue. The more people you can reach, the more money you make. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. The next thing is that customer loyalty is encouraged. Do you know why customer loyalty is encouraged? If I'm able to sell something to somebody in the UK, and I'm speaking to you here now, and I'm saying to you, oh, I'm talking to a potential customer, and I say, oh, my last client was in the UK. You will listen to me twice. You're like, oh, if she's able to sell to the UK, then, that means the product is good. Okay? And there are ways to do this. This is not the class for it, but there are ways to penetrate into these things. There are ways to I remember when we got a deal, a contract to do some work for an e-commerce company in the UK. Well, they are in Nigeria, but their offices in the UK. And I was going to talk to another customer. And I was saying to them, oh, I'm working with this company, this brand in the UK. Do you know that got us the job? And guess what? It was an unfamiliar ground. But because they heard and they had seen what we had done and were able to show them. In fact, I forgot the rest of my clients. I focused on this person, these people that I was working for in the UK. So this is what people are. Once you're able to go global, people are listening to you because they're like, whatever will make you transcend your locality, then that means you're doing something good. Also, positive online reputation. So obviously, once you are able to be global, your online reputation obviously starts to expand, because that means that people are putting reviews on your platform, and the reviews are coming from the international community, which is amazing, isn't it? Also, a more competitive opportunity in the global markets, right? And then easy access to your brand. I don't need to go and start thinking, oh, how can I find this person? When I'm sure in your branding classes, I trust the people that have spoken earlier, Emeka and Co. You would have heard that you need to have a presence online. You need to have I remember before I jumped on Instagram, I still don't have a lot of followers. I'm working on it, praise God. But I remember I used to think it's not necessary. Look, people that know me, people that know my work, and that was true, right? And I was still getting my jobs, I was getting referrals. But I kid you not, with my few followers, right, that I have right now, I cannot begin to count how many jobs have come through there. Just because once I finish with maybe the initial meeting, they have a place to go to and check me out. They can go to my website. They can go to my Instagram page. They can go to my LinkedIn. In fact, this Rome Business School he's talking about, I got into the faculty there because somebody went to look for me on LinkedIn. So if I didn't have a presence there, there's no way that they can find me. There's absolutely, even if I'm good at what I do, which I know that I am, I like to teach, I like to impact knowledge. I'll just be my little cocoon and nobody will know. And I'll be there saying, no, nobody's finding me and all of that. So with this, with social media and all of this, people are able to leave reviews, they can share their experiences, and you can garner your positive feedback to improve strategy in what you deliver. So the advantages and the importance of customer experience in the global markets, I can't overemphasize it. And the downside of that, if you do rubbish, the whole world knows that you've done rubbish. So you need to constantly build yourself up. Check what you put online. Don't forget, the internet doesn't forget. That's why I look at people now. If you look at my Instagram page, for example, people say to me, oh, you don't post your children, you don't post. I'm like, I'm very intentional about what I'm doing. This is not a page for me to post my family. I'm sure. I think if you find, I'm not sure my husband is even on my Instagram page. That's the truth. I don't want. So for me, I mean, this is personal. So this is, but you know what that did for me? There's one of my mentors, Steph, in customer service. I mean, he's written several books. He's an American. He's top, customer experience expert in America. He started to follow me on Instagram because, of course, I'll tag him. I'll whatever he's doing, but he started following me. And in my mind, I thought he will follow me because my Instagram page doesn't even show that I'm a Nigerian. It doesn't show anything. It just shows that I'm an individual who is global, who loves her customer service, loves her customer experience, is a trainer, is a teacher, is a consultant. Do you get what I mean? So position yourself. This is not the class for branding, but I just wanted to put that there in a way that people can see you and just recognize that this brand is different. This is not our local. Some of you put all these kids and things like it's okay if you are attracting just the local people because the international people might not understand what you're doing. Do you get what I mean? So be careful in the way you put yourself out there. Let me show you some statistics about what customer experience can do for you. 73% of consumers say that a good experience is key in purchasing decision. A good experience, customer experience, is key in purchasing decisions. Why are customers not coming? Because they have a bad experience with you. It's as simple as that. And can I tell you, most people, when they have bad experiences, if they give you feedback, thank God. It's a good thing when you get feedback. Some people see it as a bad thing. Listen, it's an amazing thing when you get feedback because a lot of people will go with that bad thing and then go and spread it around. And then you just find out that there's no business. 42% will be willing to pay more for a better experience. That is why sometimes when you see premium places, right, you're wondering why they're charging so much and they're having clients. Because people are actually willing to pay more for a better experience. If I go to a Mr. Biggs, I'm ready to queue and be there for 30 minutes and maybe the AC is not even working. It will not even occur to me that the AC is not working. Why? Because that's what I'm expecting. I'm not paying a lot. So I don't expect a fantastic experience. I'll be very silly if I go there and start complaining, why is the AC not working? However, if I walk into a fine dining restaurant, just shut your door if your air conditioning is not working. There's no point for you to be there. Do you understand what I mean? Because I would happily pay much more, but I'm paying for the experience. Now, this Forrester research, they do researches and all of that, and they're big on CX. They said companies that are leading in their CX, that means they're taking their CX, which is customer experience, don't forget, very importantly, outperform laggards. That's those lagging behind, those who are not thinking about it, by almost 80%. You see, I've realized that in other parts of the country, people take CX so importantly. In fact, they have people that we call the CXOs. Like some people call it, it's different ways that people say it, but what it is like the CEO, but it's Chief Experience Officer. Some people say CXO, Chief Experience Officer. And the work of the Chief Experience Officer, just like the Chief Marketing Officer or the CFO or the CEO, is that your work is to monitor the behavior of the customer. That's your work. Monitor their behavior. What do they like? What do they want? How can we help them? How can we ensure that they have good service? In this part of the world, in Nigeria, where I'm speaking from right now, it's not very common because people are just about sales and marketing, ignoring the people that you are selling and marketing to. So it's such a big deal. We need to start to encourage a lot of CX. And don't forget, CX is not customer service. It's not customer care. That's a part of CX. CX is the complete experience, customer experience. That's what we experts have shortened to CX. The entire customer experience, from how they find you, to how they interact with you, to how they leave you or you leave them, to how you come back to them, to the continuing. It's a lifetime journey, this thing called customer experience. Okay? So, okay, I've explained it here exactly. Customer experience is the totality of the cognitive, affective, sensory, and behavioral consumer responses during all stages of the consumption process, including the pre, so how they find you. What do you look like on the website? See, let me give you a typical example, guys. I will go on Instagram and try to buy something. And at the, I'll send a message and I'm like, I'm interested in this that you've posted. Can I purchase it? Then I hear things like, go and buy from our website. Why are you on Instagram? Why is your message chat box open on Instagram? You might as well block it so that nobody can chat you and direct all of us to the website. Do you understand what I mean? Make it easy for your customers. And people go for the experience. If I get an instant, okay, we'll deliver it to you tomorrow. Do you know how many businesses have stopped doing business with because this process of doing business with them is too much? It's just stress. Oh, do the transfer first. You can only pay upon delivery. How do people say it? You can only pay. You can only get it delivered after you have paid. All these things that just make it seem like you're not even thinking about the customer. It's like you're in business for yourself. Or have you seen those people that say things like they'll put the big X, no refund, no exchange? These things we think we are doing because we've suffered it once. Customers are. Will you, because of one customer, lose another 100? All my clients, I tell them, take that thing off your page. For me, it's such a red flag that I shouldn't even do business with you. So that means if I have a problem with what I bought from you, then, that's it. It's not every other place in the world. It's common in Nigeria, but every other place in the world, you will see that they have a return policy. There's a return policy. The business has made arrangements for that, knowing that some people will definitely return and complain. Make it easy for them to do that. Okay, let me jump. There's so much to discuss. Also, something new that has started to develop in the customer experience space is what we call the global experience, which is why this is so relevant for what we are talking about today. The global experience, right? And this global experience, what it talks about is how do I engage people, even though I'm local, to be global. And that's what the idea is, that from a place, from a station, people all over the world can have access. So look at something like Netflix. If I want to watch a movie on Netflix, do you know that all I need to do is put translations? These things were not common before. In fact, now I can watch a Spanish movie and they're speaking English because that's what I decide to pick. So the world is changing and we need to start to think about the fact that we're in like I said, we're all in one cocoon. Nothing is a barrier anymore. So why you should start thinking global as a business owner? One, the world is a global village. I'm telling you, it's no more I'm a Nigerian. The second thing is that distance obviously is no longer a barrier. I can do business with China without ever being to China. I can do business with any other country without even understanding their language. So language is no more a barrier. Now, another advantage we have, ladies and gentlemen, is that Africa is of such interest to the rest of the world right now. So people are interested in our clothes, they're interested in our music, they're interested in our food, in our culture. We have people that are converting to Yoruba because they like, there's so much that we can do out there. And people are looking for us and waiting for us. Logistics is becoming so much easier and better right now. I mean, I have things that I sent to the UK and it gets there in 3 days. This was not possible before. So things have started to, to expand. And then, of course, you're in Nigeria, and foreign currency. And foreign currency. That's a good reason. So what are the points to creating great global experience? And don't forget, when we talk about global experience, we're talking about customer experience globally, okay? The first thing, we can go to the next slide. The first thing is that you create a consistent experience. Did you hear that? Create a consistent experience. Let people be sure that they will get the same experience. Every time I talk about customer experience strategy with my customers, I always say to them, I cannot come today, your jollof rice is red, tomorrow is white. Because when customers are coming, they have a perception of what they're expecting. You need to be consistent with your value. You need to be consistent with what you're giving. You need to be. It's not an option because people come with perception. Can I tell you something? If my needs are not met based on my perception, then you have failed as a service provider or a product provider. Let me give you an example. If I am selling pepper soup in my store, in my restaurant, do you know that to the Igbo man, if the pepper soup is spicy, to the typical Igbo man, and this is not to generalize, but most times the people from the Igbo tribe don't like a lot of pepper. Now, if I sell pepper soup to them that has pepper, do you know that I have failed? They see me as, your service is whack. But if I sell that same pepper soup, even put extra pepper to a typical Yoruba man, they'll be like, Funke, this is the best pepper soup ever. Because experience is by perception. So I cannot come to you expecting something, and then tomorrow you give me this. Next tomorrow, it's not more like this, it's not like this. Oh no, it's not more like this, it's not like this. Be consistent. The second thing, please use technology to your advantage. In fact, look at us here. Before, if you want to do a conference, the logistics behind it, by now, and guess what? I came from a meeting right here. So I don't know how they've done the two meetings together. They would have had to look for car to come and carry Funke from where she is, take her to this thing, probably have booked hotel. Then all of us will be finding how to get there. Some people will miss the call. Use technology to your advantage. Use technology as much as possible. Get on social media. There's so many things. If your website, you can start to use chat boxes. Respond real time. Even Instagram has that now. Once you chat, they're already saying, what do you want? How can I help you? These are our products. Use it to your advantage so that it can be globally relevant. Invest in your employees. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you this enough. So as a customer experience trainer or customer service trainer, I have clients who we're on a retainer. So every year, at least 3 times a year, I go to them to teach or send somebody or look for somebody to partner with. And let me tell you something, we can see the impact. If we can't see the impact, we won't keep doing it. Because people need to keep learning and learning and learning and learning. You don't just learn once and leave it. Okay? Then the last thing, create a personalized experience always. I like to say this is such a new thing in CX. I think we started saying this in CX maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, that experiences need to be personalized. It is never one size fits all anymore. So please, can I warn you about something too that ticks me off? Can you stop saying things like, this is our company policy to customers? Company policy is not the customer's business. It is your business. It is your company policy, not the customer's own. So when you say things like, we can't do this because it's our customer policy, it is such a tick off. And let me tell you something, Nigerians are getting wiser in customer experience because we are traveling. We are becoming global. We are watching these things on TV. So we understand what service should look like. You're no more doing us a favor. So create personalized experiences. How do you do that? Let me say this quickly as I move to the next one. How do you do that? How do you create personalized experiences? Anticipate. Be proactive, not reactive. A typical example. A mom is coming into a supermarket and she's carrying a carrier bag and carrying the baby, right? The normal thing to do is you will help her open the door and then she'll continue her shopping. That's you being normal, reactive. You're like, oh, let me just help her. I should be, thank you so much. She'll be happy. But don't forget what I said earlier. The plan is to wow the customers, isn't it? So the next thing you do, if you want to personalize it or be proactive, as she comes in, just give her a seat, give her water to drink, take her shopping list, go and show her the options. Do you want A? Do you want B? Do you want this? Once she finishes, go to the till, do everything, bring the POS for her to pay. Do you know? Honestly, if you do that, not only have you wowed her, you have kept that experience in her mind. And let me tell you, she will then freely begin to advertise. But what we do naturally, especially in the part of the world, is that we're very reactive in customer service or customer experience. Very reactive. So you're waiting for them to call and complain. You're not even going to ask, how was the service today? How was the product? Did you enjoy using it? A lot of Instagram sellers, you buy something from them, not one person will even remember to say, thank you for what you bought last week. Is it still working? Are you using it? They don't care because they're only after your money. And once you show that you're after my money, I'm not interested in doing business with you anymore. So you start to wonder, why are they not coming back? Because you're also not interested in us. So the experience has to be so personalized. And these things are easy to customize, ladies and gentlemen. So easy to customize. Do you know that you can do this message, this bulk messages, you can customize it on their birthday, send them, see what the banks are doing. On your birthday, you already received. Do you think they specially go and say happy birthday, Funke? Of course not. The day you registered with them, they've already written down, they've put it in the CRM, and I have a course about that as well. It's one of the courses that I'm giving a discount on. CRM, they've already put it in the system, so it's automated. For you, are feeling special. Oh, they remembered me. They didn't remember you. Hello. But they have decided to personalize the experience for you. Okay, very important. I'm trying to run now. So I think I've explained this. Yes, I've talked about create a consistent experience. Always make sure that it is consistent. And however, keep the customs and regulations in mind. So can I give you a typical example? I work in the restaurant, right? So in Nigeria, in America, tips are a big deal. If you don't leave a tip in America, because people live on tips more than the salary, it's almost like, what have you just done? But in Japan, if you leave a tip, is an insult. So you have to be careful. Yes, you want to be global. Find out what the customs are. Okay? Find out what the customs are. Technology can help. I'm on the next slide. Can help you create a seamless CX across multiple platforms without you even lifting your hand from where you are, giving a great experience. Let it be easy for us to buy from you. Let it be easy for us to pay. Now I'm so excited about what people like Seller and all of these things are doing, what Flutterwaves is doing for us. Make payments easy. These are things that make the experience easy. Okay, don't tell me you have to go and pay in the bank, then bring teller, proof of payments. Remember, that's how we used to do in the secondary schools in those days. Now, if I'm paying my children's school fees, it's a transfer from my house. No more go and collect teller, go and pay, come back. This one. Invest in your employees, please. Train, and if you are the only one, if you are the only employee, train yourself. I have one-on-one with my clients, and they always come back with amazing feedback. Train yourself. In this my business, there's also something, there's a course I'm working on now, another like 1 hour course. It'll be out very cheap. I'm talking about the customer journey map. Start to look at all the journey maps and the touch points. When they get me on the website, what's the next thing they should do? How do I make that process easier? When they leave me, how have they left me? Have they left me happy, fulfilled, excited about what they purchased from me, or are they regretting it? And how do you know these things? You have to find out. You have to follow up. So we've talked about personalize. So I'm ending here because I know that my time is almost up, if not up already. Sorry, I haven't been reading the comments, sir. But yeah, if not already. So I want to just go to this last slide. And I said, by focusing on CX, you can create a loyal customer base that will help you grow your business on a global level. Okay? Remember to be patient, persistent, and always, always, always put your customer first. No matter how difficult it is, think about your customers first. Like I said before, Steve Jobs said it. Customer, think of the product, think of the customer, then create the product. Your customer is the bedrock. Without customers, we're just doing family, NGO. Even NGOs, you need customer. Are you aware that your family members are your customers too? They are your customers. So, this is such a big deal, and I'm always excited and passionate when I talk about customer service and customer experience, because everybody literally is your customer. What I've done here today is I've come to deliver a service. Guess what? There are some of you watching now say, oh, I love the way Funke delivered this. I'm definitely having her in my organization. If I come here and I do, so customer service, please let me shut that door there. Will you call me again? Do you get what I mean? So all of these things, remember, what am I delivering? How am I delivering it? Are people excited to be around me? Whether it's make things fun. I remember buying some hair extensions the other day, and they delivered it so nicely packed. They could have listen. They could have put it inside normal nylon bag, wrapped it, put my name. You know the way they do delivery now. I buy a lot of things online, so and they could have just wrapped it and done that and just come to deliver. Do you know what these guys did? They put the hair in all of this like satin cloth kind of things. They wrote me a nice note on how to look after the hair. They wrote me a thank you, personalized thank you note. Dear Funke, I'm not joking. Listen, I'm not even joking. I have at least given them 4 customers since I got that hair. Not that I haven't bought hair from other people. Do you understand what I mean? So all of these things, that's why I say, ensure that you are starting to personalize this thing and be persistent. People, don't be tired. Once in a while, some things will not work the way, yeah, it doesn't matter, like everything else in the world, but be consistent. And yes, some customers are unique. You know, there's some special customers that have just come to stress your day. But guess what? Don't focus on that one. And then because of that, give the other 99 a bad experience. Okay? I think I'm going to end here and then we'll go to questions. I don't know. I hope the class has been amazing. I had fun doing this. I had so much fun doing this. I don't know if we still have time to take questions. If not, oh, I'm seeing my people chatting me from the back. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. All right. So do we have any questions? How do we do this?
All right. I told you guys she's going to blow us away. Now, if not that I pity the next speaker, I will just allow her to continue. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I've checked the back end. I'm not certain if there are any questions now.
Okay.
So, guys, if you have questions, please put them up. Even if she's not here, while the next speaker is here, she's at the back end also. She will be able to see your question and she will come back to treat them. You know, it's amazing that you said a lot of business owners, you know, I deal with business owners too, entrepreneurs, and what we are actually looking out for is a satisfied customer. So there's one extra level now, which is the wowed customer. Oh my God. So for everyone on this call, you really need to go to that level. Don't let us stop where everybody stops. Everybody is looking for the satisfied customer. We always thought we have two, the unsatisfied and the satisfied, right? But let's go for the wowed customer. And another thing you said that really got me was the fact that you mentioned something about jollof and it got me hungry. I need to eat jollof tonight. You said I can't show up in your restaurant today and the jollof rice you're giving me today is red, and I'm here with my friends tomorrow and you're giving me yellow. It shouldn't be like that. What I took yesterday, I'm coming back today, and that's the same experience I want to have, if not better. So I shouldn't have anything lesser than that, which is very amazing. So business owners, you need to pay attention to this. Don't just think like, I'm trying to check if there are questions. Okay. Yeah, somebody said you indeed blew us away. Yes. So I have a confirmation, right? You mentioned something. I heard this a lot, most especially when I go to all these banks and all that, they tell you it's company's policy. So it's none of our problem. Your company's policy is your headache. It has nothing to do. So don't put your company wahala on us. Just give us the value we are expecting. Thank you so much. This is amazing. I'm telling you, I took a lot of notes. One of the things you said again is that we should use technology to our advantage. And just like you said, imagine what we are doing here tonight. How many of us will be running a conference 8 p.m. Saturday? How many of us? It takes technology to do that. If I say come to a hotel or come to somewhere 8 p.m. for conference Saturday night, how many of us will come? Saturday night, you know, but we can always sit in our house for 2 hours in our offices, in our workspace, and we can still be part of the. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have some products you will want to share with us. You said you are giving us some discounts and all that. So we can post the link.
Okay, so if you go ahead and post it, but just very quickly, these are like 2 major things I hear about customer complaints. There's another course which I haven't put out there. It's called customer service recovery, and this is the process where once a customer is upset, you can get the customer back. However, one of the big things we hear is how to handle customer complaints. When a customer comes to you and complains about something, what do you do? So I put this cost is maybe about 45 minutes or even less. It's 1,500 on the thing, but with this code you can get it at 1,000 naira. So I've said it's not expensive. The idea is I want this information out there because I want people to begin to treat customers in a better way. So it's a very
Funke,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Let them know. See, she's doing this for me. Now I know what she does. I know where she's been. I didn't even finish all her profile. I told you I'm bringing room to you. So please, guys, if Funke gives you this for 1,500, as a matter of fact, she told me she's giving it to us for 1,000 naira. The 1,500 has been discounted. Then for us again, she's doing it at 1,000 naira. These are things that she does in dollar rates, not even naira. She charges $30, $50 for all of this. So please, guys, if you are going to take this, you always can send me messages, my DM, and the link, they are there, right? And our Instagram handle, help me with your Instagram handle. That's
it's the Funke company. The
Funke company, yes.
Yeah.
It's there at the Funke at the underscore Funke underscore company. Yes. So guys, follow her, send her a DM. Let me tell you the truth. I consult for business owners, and some of them will say, like, we have not grown. That's why we are not paying attention to customer service. You will never grow. It's not a cost. If you have 3 customers, the repeated buying experience is the cocoa of the whole thing. Yes, because one satisfied customer is okay, but one unsatisfied customer does more harm to your business. I'm telling you, one unsatisfied customers. Do you know? Let me quickly share this. My office in Lagos, we had this internet provider we were using. I don't want to mention their name. They messed me up big time. After 3 months using them, they messed me up. There was a file I was supposed to send to Canada one night like that. So I put it up, and I had nowhere to get internet again. We were all shut out in the office. It couldn't go. They messed us up. Their customer service was terrible. We'll call them, they won't pick calls. When they are going to get us back, they will be apologizing for entirely something different. So in Abeokuta, somebody wanted to get them. And in my mind, immediately the person mentioned the name because I live in Abeokuta and I used another internet service provider at home. But when somebody suggested that to me, I said, oh, no. My experience with them in Lagos, I don't like. And the guy said they might be different in Abeokuta, that I should try them. I said, it's the same brand. I expect them to be the same all over, right? Exactly. So sometimes an unsatisfied customer does more harm to your businesses, right? To whatever service you render. So guys, let's go that step higher. The satisfied. After that, let's wow our customers, right? So thank you so much, Funke. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are blessed. We are blessed having you tonight, right?
Thank you.
So thank you. All right, guys, we're going to the next stage. And do you know what? The next speaker is at the back end. We've been speaking. He's an amazing man. He travels all through Europe. He just finished a conference in London a couple of weeks ago. He lives in Ireland. So I'm going to be bringing him up right away. I promised you I was going to talk to you about the 2 kinds of entrepreneurs, right? Don't worry. Hold on. I'm going to share that with you. But if you want to know more about it, it's in my book, 14 Days MBA. If you have not read this book, oh my God, you are doing yourself. I don't know what else to tell you. So let me quickly read about my friend. He's coming up next. I know you guys. Don't worry. I will talk after the third speaker. All right. So Seyi Agbede, his name is Seyi Agbede, and he's a highly qualified and experienced learning and development specialist with a background in statistics, right? Amazing. You're there, my brother. He has a passion for helping professionals discover their purpose and improve themselves. He began his career as a mathematics teacher. Do you know that? I ran away from mathematics. He started teaching mathematics. Oh my God. God help me. Help us tonight, right? And he has a BSc in mathematics from University of Lagos and additional education and training qualifications from Highfield University in the UK and Chartered Institute of Personnel Development, CIPD UK. He is also currently pursuing an MBA and Masters in Leadership, as well as being a lifelong learner and technology enthusiast. He's a regular trainer and facilitator at various seminars all over the world, right? See, I brought to you people that they are not on the jackpot train, right? These ones have content, and the content have taken them around the world. So, guys, if we say you can grow global, I'm telling you, like Funke said, you can be seated in your workspace in Nigeria and you can touch Brazil, right? So let's listen to these guys. Shay, good evening. How are you doing today?
Well, good evening. Good evening. I'm fine. Just to be sure, can you hear me clearly before we go ahead?
We can. Yes, we can.
Okay,
We
fantastic.
can. Are you ready for us tonight?
Oh, yes. I mean, we live ever prepared.
All right. So what are you bringing? Are you bringing in the fire or the snow?
Yes.
What are you bringing in?
We've been having snow for a couple of days here, but we're good to go. Good to go.
All right. So take it up. I'll be back after you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you. Mr. Bolaji, there's been a very dear friend. We've been having, conversations for quite some time. And I stand on existing protocol as well for everybody that has spoken. I've been a part of the conference, even though, yes, I'm speaking at the conference, but I've also been a part of the conference learning as well. Yesterday, we had Mr. Bolaji, we had Oludaya yesterday, and then we had Fire and Mecca, and we just had Funke finish her session as well, which is very, very awesome. Thank you very much. So now, a number of things I'll be talking about today may not be things that you'll be hearing for the very first time. Okay, sometimes repetition brings a lasting impression, brings a lasting penetration. Sometimes it's just hearing same things from a different person or from a different perspective helps you to get better understanding. So I'm going to be talking about a number of things today. And what I will be talking to you about today is how to build a global brand, how to build businesses without borders. And I've kind of subtitled that, how to expand your brand globally. Now, the speaker that came before me, Funke, has done a fantastic job. So a number of things are not going to be very new to you, that things you would have heard before. So I'm just going to continue with that. Now, the thing is, in today's world, right, we are so very, very interconnected in our world today. Our world has become what we call a global village, and this was also compounded by the advent of the pandemic, right? Everything is now closely knitted together. The pandemic collapsed all the boundaries and all the borders and all of that we have around us, and has introduced us to an era of what we call borderlessness. That is the environment that we are living in now. I mean, your playing field is no longer your locality around you, but your playing field is now the world at large. And Funke rightly mentioned earlier, look at all of us right now. We are having a conference from different parts of the world. I am joining you from Ireland. Funke spoke from Nigeria. EJ, Energetic EJ, is going to be joining us, I think, from the UAE. All of us are coming together as if we're together in the same room, even though we are thousands of miles apart. That is the kind of world it is that we are experiencing today. However, building a global brand, or a brand that resonates with all your customers in different countries and cultures and all of that, can be a very, very challenging task. To demystify today. So how do you get to build this brand that will be able to cut across cultures and countries? But to get started, the first thing I would like to talk about is, what are the key elements of building a brand in the first place? I know Fire Emeka took us through branding and all of that. I mean, those are branding specialists and all of that. So I'm not going to delve too much in that. Just to talk a few things about why or how, what are the key elements you need in building a brand in the first place. Now, you need to understand, because some people find when we're talking about branding, I feel, I don't have a business, or I don't have this, I don't have that. You are a brand whether you are here, you're a career professional, you are a brand in your own person. So you have what is called the personal brand, and then you have what is called the corporate brand or your company brand. So you are a brand, whether you have a business that you're selling, whether you work for someone, whatever it is you do, you are a brand. So how do you get to build a brand? What are the key things to look out for in building a brand? The first thing I'll talk about is start with a dream. Start with a dream. You know, it is said that everything has been created twice. First in your mind, and then with your hands. Everything has been created twice. First in your mind, and then with your hands. So before you go ahead to build that brand it is that you want in the physical with your hands that people can see, you need to have built it in your mind. That's where it starts from. And the thing about imagination is the only nation where you have no boundaries. You don't need to pay a visa. You don't need to pay a fee to have imagination. It is your imagination. If I want to dream that I have the wealthiest company in the world, nobody can arrest you for what you have thought in your mind. It is your imagination. So it starts with a dream. This is one of the most important essentials for starting a business, because you need to have clear vision or dreams about what it is you want to achieve. I know a lot of people here, we're talking about business and all of that, but I also have the consciousness that some people might not be in business right now. Maybe you're planning to go into business, so you're a career professional now, you're planning to start up a business and all of that. I'm always conscious of that. So what is the dream of what you want to achieve? The dream should be something that inspires you and aligns with your passion and values. I'll talk a bit more about this later. Now, when I teach or coach or train people, I usually talk from three perspectives, right? I talk from statistics. Like Mr. Bolaji said, my first degree was in statistics. So I like to deal with a lot of statistics. It helps me to make things clearer. So I deal with statistics, I deal with science, and depends on the environment that I am speaking as well, I deal with scriptures. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to be quoting scriptures here, because I understand that we have different people from different cultures and backgrounds and all of that on this call right now. So I'll be focusing a lot more on science and statistics. Now, according to a research, having a clear vision is critical to your business, with 64% of successful entrepreneurs citing this as a key factor for them to succeed. So before you can succeed in your brand, in your business, whatever it is, having a vision is clear. So that's the first thing. Start with a dream. The second thing is learn to fail. Learn to fail. Now, let me mention a couple of people to you. You probably know these people as well. And let's find out what is common to all of these people. Have you heard of Thomas Edison before? That was the guy that created the light bulb. Have you heard of J.K. Rowling? She's the author behind the Harry Potter series and all of that. Have you heard of Oprah Winfrey? Okay, obviously you probably have. She's one of the most successful TV hosts today. Have you heard of Walt Disney before? Have you heard of Colonel Sanders, the guy behind the JFK brand? Have you heard of Abraham Lincoln? That's one of the greatest presidents America has had. Have you heard of Stephen King before? What do all these people have in common? They are all failures. Every one of them failed severely at one point in their journey. Thomas Edison was said to have failed over 900 times at the attempt to make the light bulb. J.K. Rowling was rejected by several publishing companies. They told her, your stories they are not marketable. Today, she's a billion-dollar author with her Harry Potter franchise. Look at Oprah today. She's one of the richest Black women in the world, if not the richest in the world today. And she was once told that her brand could not be marketed. Look at Walt Disney. Look at Colonel Sanders. He had been retired. He was, I think, in his 60s thereabouts when he started the KFC franchise. This is someone that they had told he couldn't succeed in life. Look at Abraham Lincoln. He tried to be president over and over and over and over again. Eventually, he got there. Look at Stephen King. See, the thing is, our society, right, has taught us that failure is a terrible thing. And we all go around with that consciousness, oh, you cannot fail, you cannot fail. And think about this. I don't know what environment it is that you're joining me from right now. I know this is a global conference, so people are joining. But for those of us that grew up probably in the western part of Africa, or even in Nigeria particularly, I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. You could imagine that when you were in school and probably your teacher asked you to say the times table and you failed at doing that. What would happen? You probably would get a serious beating. That is the kind of environment. So we had grown up to see failure as something terrible. You wanted to avoid it. But the thing is, genuinely successful people were once failures before. So if you have never failed at anything before, it only means you have never tried anything outstanding before. You have only been playing within your comfort zone. That's the only thing that is happening. In the actual sense, I say to people, failure does not exist. It is only a way, a how to discover how not to do something. That brings me to a story that I heard about a CEO. He hired one young guy. I mean, he was into the stock market and all of that in the US. They hired this young guy, and a couple of weeks after he got into the job and all of that, he made a stock deal, and he lost $500,000. $500,000. So, and he felt, this is the end. My career is over. So the next day, he went to work with his resignation letter, and he went and then he went to his boss and he said, okay, well, I know my time here is up. This is my resignation letter. And his boss said to him, come here. You have just lost the company $500,000. But the thing is, you have learned a mistake that is $500,000 worth. He said, I have invested that money for you to learn how not to do business for me. Do you think I'm going to let you go away just like that? You carry that experience and go and use it to help someone else on how not to lose $500,000. He said, now you have learned what you did wrong to lose the $500,000. You are now an asset to me. I can't let you go because your experience would help me so that I would never lose that kind of money again. That is the kind of mindset you should have about failure. That is what many of us do not have. Failure is an inevitable part of an entrepreneur's journey. So you need to learn to fail. The next thing I'll talk about very quickly, I'm conscious of my time. I'm going to try. There's so many things to say. All right. I'll try and deliver as much value as I can within the time that I have here with us. Now, the next thing is mind your success. Now, I have a coaching program, and this is one topic that I could actually speak on for days on ending. Imagine I have an iPhone 14, for example. Okay, very sleek phone, ultra, and all of that. But somehow the software of that phone has been corrupted. As fantastic as the mobile phone is, iPhone 14, if the software is corrupt, that phone is useless. Even if I have a 97 megapixel camera on it, even if the hard disk is 1,000 gigabytes or whatever, if the software is corrupt, that phone is useless. A lot of us today, we are packaged with so many giftings, so many talents, so many abilities. Those are the hardware. Those are like what we compare to the cameras and all of that of the iPhone. However, our software that is supposed to run those giftings, those talents and all of that has been corrupted by the things that have gone into our mind. And the unfortunate thing is, while growing up, so it's like, imagine I take out the iPhone 14 when it's brand new. I need to start installing software into this mobile phone for it to be able to function. While you were growing up, unknown to you, people, your environment were installing softwares in you that you did not know. Those are the softwares that are helping you to run today. So you're thinking about how do you react to financial matters, for example. It is someone that has installed a software while you were growing up. So the question is that the right software you should be having? If it's not the right software, what do? You can delete the software, you can upgrade the software, but the one thing for you to do is sit down and say, well, this is how I am. That's what the mindset does to you in terms of success. So there's a difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. I don't have time to talk about all of this today because of our time, but it is very, very important to talk about this. Now, when we are talking about success, we need to understand that there's a difference between growth, progress, and success. They sound similar. Growth, progress, success. Let me quickly differentiate them for you. Now, growth is an increase in material possessions. Okay. I mean, so increase in money, increase in customers. Funke was just talking about customers, increase in sales and all of that. That is growth. However, progress is growth plus ethics. What do we mean by ethics? Discipline, honesty, your norms, etc. So until your growth has been gotten in an ethical manner, it is not progress. We have a lot of people that are doing very dubious things around the world. Unfortunately, I'm from Nigeria. We've heard a lot of very terrible cases about Nigerians all over the world, especially with online scams and all of that. Now, they are growing. Their finances may be growing. The number of houses they own, the number of cars and all of that may be growing. Does not mean it is progress. Because if it is not in addition to ethical values, then it is not progress. Now, what is success? Now, success is when the progress comes in alignment with morality, humanity, and spirituality. So in other words, success is an increase in material or whatever, in addition to ethics, in addition to your morality, your humanity, and your spirituality. Now, the next thing I'll talk about very quickly, number 4, find your bliss. Find your bliss. It is important to find a business that aligns with your passions and interests. This would help you to stay motivated and focused and achieve your dreams. You know, there's a concept called Ikigai, which is part of what I teach on my coaching program as well. Now, the Ikigai concept is a Japanese concept that talks about 4 major areas. It talks about your passion, your mission, your profession, and then your vocation. Now, let me try and explain them very quickly. What is your passion? Passion is that thing you can do. I mean, you wake up in the middle of the night, someone wakes you up, oh, can you do this for me? And you do it and you not even feel that you have done it. For example, some people can cook the whole day and they will not even feel it. They love to do it. However, your mission is what you have been created to do. Like your purpose. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe of Preston Memory would always say, if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So the fact that I am passionate about something does not mean that is what I have been created to do. Let me take myself, for example. I love driving, right? When I was much younger, I used to drive days for the fun of it. Myself and my friends would just get into the car, we'll take a 5-hour journey here, the next day we'll drive back and all of that. But is that what I was created to do? I don't think so. What I'm created to do is empower people. I call myself an evangelist in the marketplace, which is what I am doing right now. So your passion is what you love to do. But the thing is this, we live in an environment, we live in an era that you can actually monetize any passion that you have. Have you seen where we have people that are called professional slappers? Have you seen that competition before? What they do is they come together and you are slapping me, I'm slapping you, and we see the first person to go down. And they're making huge money from it. And I was thinking to myself, in Nigeria, I mean, like I said, I grew up in Nigeria, so apologies for those that are not from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have, you know, these military guys that we say they have a specialty. They have PhDs in slapping people. And I was thinking, can these people think about monetizing these skills rather than using it to oppress innocent citizens? That's the kind of era we are. Some people have been able to monetize traveling. All they do for a living is travel on vacations, and they are paid to travel to have fun. Can you imagine? That's the era that we live in. You can monetize anything. So your passion is what you can do for free, even when you can earn a fee for it. Your mission is what you have been created to do. Your profession is what you have been trained to do. Your vocation is what you are paid to do. Now, I may be trained as a medical doctor. Does not mean I'm paid as a medical doctor. We have Dr. Seed. He's a medical doctor by profession. He's a musician by vocation. So, Ikigai talks about when your passion, what you love to do, is what you have been created to do, is what you have been trained to do, and is what you are now doing for a living. When those 4 things align, it is called Ikigai, and I call it bliss. Find that bliss, and your life will be made easy. Number 5, very quickly. Track, measure, and communicate. Track, measure, and communicate. Tracking and measuring your business performance is critical for success, and it helps you identify areas of improvement and make informed decisions. It is very, very important. Now, like it's always said, what is not measured cannot be improved. I don't care the kind of anointing, the kind of intelligence that you have. Whatever you don't measure, you cannot increase it until you can measure that thing. The only way I can talk about increasing my finances is because I can measure it. I have $1,000, I have $1 million, I have $1 billion. It can be measured. I can measure the amount of customers that I have. I have 300 customers, I have 500 customers. If I cannot measure it, I cannot improve it. I cannot grow it. Now, when we're talking about measurements as well, we need to understand many times people focus on the quantitative measurement. There are two kinds of measurements, right? There's a quantitative measurement, which has to do with figures. So I've just given you an example. Money, how much money am I making? How many customers do I have? All of those are quantitative measurements. But sometimes we also measure what is called qualitative measurements. What is qualitative measurement? So take, for example, we are all on this conference together today. Mr. Bolaji has put together a fantastic conference like this today. One of the quantitative measurements could be how many people registered for the conference. So, we want 1,000 people to join the conference. We want 2,000 people to join the conference. That is a quantitative measurement. But then a qualitative measurement could be how many people do we want their lives to change as a result? What kind of impact do we want in the lives of those that join the conference? Now, that is a qualitative measurement. So I may have only 10 people. I may not have met my quantitative targets in the sense that I had only 10 people instead of 50 people join my conference. But my qualitative measurement will mean that these 10 people that joined my conference, oh my goodness, they were wowed. Funke was just talking about the wow experience. They were wowed. So even though I may fall short on my quantitative measurements, but my qualitative measurements help me to achieve a lot more as well. And then communication is key. You know, I say to people that the best known talent will always beat the best talent every day. The best known talent will always be the best talent. So if you have two people, they have equal talents, equal giftings and all of that. But one of them knows how to communicate his talent and the other one does not know how to communicate it. That one that knows how to communicate it, even though he may not even be better, he will get the job ahead. Now, the thing is this. Imagine I'm here right now speaking to you. And I'm hoping I'm delivering value to you today. So I know I have a lot of value to deliver to you, but imagine I came here and I was speaking to you in Chinese. No matter the amount of value that I have to bring to you today, if you cannot understand me, it is a waste of your time and my time as well. A lot of us are struggling because we are not communicating the value we have in the language of the people that need the value. So we have this value. We can solve so many people's problems in the world, but we have not been able to communicate that value to those that can actually pay us for the value. And that is where the problem is. That is why communication is key. I'm going to move very quickly. Let's go to the sixth one, which is start it and stick to it. Start it and stick to it. It is important to focus on growing your business over time while staying committed. You know, some people move from one place to the other. Oh, they said it is online gaming that is working now. Everybody has moved there. Oh, no, they said it's Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. They moved there. Start it and stick to it. Find out from all the successes. I just gave you examples of people that failed over time. Eventually, they became successful. If they had given up on it and moved somewhere else, we will not hear their stories today. Start it and stick to it. According to research, 82% of successful entrepreneurs said that they focus steady on incremental growth rather than rapid expansion. So it's not just about how quickly you expand. Focus, slow and steady. Daily growth is better than momentarily large growths. So daily minute growths is much more important than having large growth all at once. Now, there are so many things to talk about this. I'm going to stop it there. I'm watching my time. So now I'm going to talk about the keys to building a global brand. We've just talked about the keys to build a brand generally. And we've talked about how you are also a brand. Whatever it is you do, you're a brand. Now, what are the keys to build a global brand? Before I go ahead, I would like to talk about the types of brands. Okay. And I usually try to base them based on influence. There are different types of brands based on influence. The first brand is what I call a local brand. A local brand. Now, what is a local brand? A local brand is a brand where you operate within your locality. Your customers are within your locality. So I sell maybe clothes, okay? And the people that patronize my business are people within my locality. Maybe I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and people in Lagos, Nigeria, or people in my estate buy from me and all of that. That is a local brand. The next stage to that is an international brand. An international brand. Okay, now what is an international brand? Now, my influence has gone beyond my locality. It is no longer just the people that are in my locality that purchase my products. Okay, the people that are so I have an international appeal for my product. I may live in Lagos, Nigeria. I sell clothes in Lagos, Nigeria, but now I'm beginning to have outlets in different parts. So maybe I have an office in Ghana. I have an office in a shop outlet in South Africa and all of that. I have an international appeal. People that begin to purchase my products outside my locality. Now, there's what is called a global brand as well. Now, what is a global brand? What is the difference between an international brand and a global brand? With an international brand, even though you have customers not within your locality, but primarily your customers in the international community are people from your locality. Let me give you an example. We have a number of financial institutions that have Nigerian banks, for example. I know a number of people here are Nigerian, so I'm going to be using a number of Nigerian examples. We have a number of Nigerian financial institutions that have branches, for example, in London. Okay, now, but the people that are using, I don't want to call it the brand, okay, let me just call GTB. The people that are using GTB in London are Nigerians, essentially, that are living in London. But you have a global brand when the people that are using your brand or that have the influence of people you have in the international community are not necessarily people from your locality, but people from that locality that you have the brand in. Take, for example, Coca-Cola, which is one of the strongest brands in the world. If you come to Nigeria, the people that drink Coca-Cola the most are not Americans or the Europeans or the Western people. They are Nigerians. If you go to Singapore, the people that drink Coca-Cola are Singaporeans. If you come to the UK, the people that drink Coca-Cola are British people. That is a global brand. The international, a global brand, because the people that are purchasing or that are using this brand in the international community are from the locality where it is based, not from where it started from. Now, there is a last one that has been added to it as a result of the pandemic. What is that? I've called it the local brand. In that case, I am operating from my locality. Right? I am not living Lagos, Nigeria. I don't even have any international brand anywhere in the world. I have no branch. I have no office anywhere in the world. My office is in Lagos, Nigeria. However, people in South Africa have my products. People in Australia have my products. People they all have my products. Not people from my locality. Australians are using my products in Australia. The UK people are using my products in the UK. Americans are using my products in America. Now, that level has been brought in because of the pandemic. The world is now a global village. I can sit down in my room and have coaching clients all over the world, which I do right now. That is the global brand. So those are the 4 types of brands that we have. Now let's talk about the key elements. How do you get to grow this brand? Number 1, understand cultural differences. Understand cultural differences. Now, cultural awareness is important for building a global brand. I mean, Funke talked about something during her session. In America, if you go to America, right, tip is compulsory. In fact, they will tell you the percentage that you are supposed to give as tip. It is not in your bill, but it is an unwritten law. You dare not go pay for goods in America and not drop a tip. It is an unwritten law. But in Japan, it's different. So if you don't understand those cultural differences and the cultural awareness, you will not be able to tailor your services to each person or each peculiarity. It is very, very important. It's very important. Another thing is it can help impact your branding and marketing strategies. If you understand how these people think, how they operate. If you want to have a global brand, then you need to understand how the things operate in the global markets. I'll give you my own personal experiences. I like to use my personal experiences when I talk to people as well. Even when I was still in Nigeria, right, I always had an international appeal to what it is I was doing. So when I started hosting my virtual conferences and all of that, I started off with holding virtual conferences, but with Nigerians in the diaspora. I had Nigerians that were living in Nigeria on my conferences, but then I graduated to start having Nigerians in the diaspora on my conferences. Later on, because I wanted to spread beyond Nigerians in the diaspora, I wanted to graduate from being an international brand to being a global brand. I started working with people that were not Nigerians in the international community. So I worked with Caucasians, I worked with the Indians, I worked with all of those. Those people used to speak at my conferences, my virtual conferences when I started and all of that. When I relocated from Nigeria in 2021 and I got here to Ireland, right? Because I was in a different environment, my mind and all of that I knew from my environment in Nigeria was quite different from here in Ireland. I wanted to work with a sales coach or a marketing coach that was from this environment. Now, there are fantastic marketing coaches all over the world, sales coaches. I mean, one of the people I work with, who I call the finest coach out of Africa, Paul Fo. But I wanted to work with someone that had the cultural understanding of a number of people. So I work with a lady in the UK. She used to live in the UK. She's relocated now. She used to live in the UK, but she was, I think, Indian or something. But she was living in the UK. She was born and brought up in the UK and all of that. I worked with her because I wanted to understand the mindset of the Asians, the mindset of the UK, and she also worked with people. I mean, this is someone that works with Grant Cardone on a weekly basis. She has meetings with Grant Cardone and all of that. She has eventually relocated to the UAE now. Now, why was that important for me? Because I wanted to understand cultural differences of the people I want to meet. It is very, very key. Another thing is you need to conduct cross-cultural market research. Now, you can do this through surveys, asking questions. Thank God, even WhatsApp now, you can do polls and all of that on WhatsApp. You see people on LinkedIn, they are doing a lot of polls and everything. You are doing research. You want to find out, what do these people want? Funke talked about it. It is not about what you want. It is about who you are trying to please or you're trying to meet. When I started my conferences as well, I used to do my conferences in the mornings, okay? 10 a.m., 11 a.m. in the mornings, my virtual conferences, because I understood in Nigeria back then, I mean, Saturday mornings were about the only time people had to, okay, let me sit and watch this conference. But then when I realized that most of the people that were interested in attending my conferences were not in Nigeria. So I have people that were in the US, I have people that were in the UAE and all of that. And I said, okay, so if I start a conference at 10 a.m. in the morning, for the guy in the United States, it's about 5 a.m. in the morning for him. Nobody's going to wake up at 5 a.m. to join my conference in America. So I thought about it. If I'm going to reach these people, I need to have a shift. I shifted my conferences from 11 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening, so that by 6 p.m. in the evening, it is 12 noon in America. It is 9 p.m. in the UAE. Those are the things you need to do if you want to reach a global brand. I'm checking on my time. Oh wow, time is really going. Okay, let's go on with this. Now, the second thing is develop a global brand strategy. What does this include? Your vision, your mission, and your core values. Your vision is an idea of where you want to go. Your mission is how you want to get there. Your core values talks about the success criteria. How are you going to measure success along the way? So take, for example, my vision is I want to travel from Lagos, Nigeria to Ogun State in Nigeria. Okay, that's my vision. My mission is how am I going to take this trip? I can take a boat. If there's a boat, I'm not sure I can get a boat. I can take a train. I can take I can use a car. I can use a bike. Now that is the mission. How do I want to achieve my vision? Now my core values will say that while I'm going on this journey, I need to ensure that I am always smiling. My smile is up on the journey. So what that means is, even if I completed my journey from Lagos to Ogun State, but I did not smile to everybody I met on the way, it was not success for me because it was not in line with my core values. And it is important to communicate your core values to people. Kanye West recently was de-billionaired. For some of us that knew what happened, okay? A couple of weeks back, he came out and he shared some things about his core values, about his values. A number of people did not agree with his values. And what happened? All the brands and all of that, as at that time, he was worth about $2 billion, right? All the brands he was working with, what did they do? Overnight, they all withdrew their business from him. So he was billionaire in a couple of days, not because his intelligence reduced, not because he did not have a vision. What's changed? He communicated a core value that did not resonate with the people. So in the same way, if you communicate a core value that resonates with people, they will buy your brand. It is very important. So develop those and communicate those. Create a brand narrative that resonates with customers all over the world. It is very, very key. And then craft a global marketing strategy that speaks to your target audience in different regions. I told you in my own example, I wanted to work with the international community, right? And I had to get a coach that was from the international community that I was trying to reach as well, which is very, very key. You need to understand them. And then I was able to craft a strategy for these people. It is very, very key. And I mean, right now on my coaching program, I have people signed from all over the world. I have white guys on my coaching program. I have Africans on my coaching program. I have Indians on my coaching program. Now, am I where I want to be? No. But I'm not where I used to be. When I started off, I was a local brand. It was only people within my locality I was working with. Gradually, I moved to become an international brand. I started having coaching clients that were Nigerians from the international community. Now I have grown to become a global brand. Well, I'm still developing, but right now I have different people from different parts of the world that sign up onto my coaching program. And you would agree with me, it is not an easy thing for you to be a black man in Europe and to have these guys to sign up onto your coaching program that I want you to coach me. That says a lot, but it comes with intentionality. You have to build it. It didn't start overnight. You have to build it. If you look at all my programs, Mr. Bolaji was talking about the conference I had in London. I had a conference in London about 2-3 weeks ago. Take a look at those that were on my conference. You would always see a blend from different nationalities. My next conference, I'll talk to you about that very shortly, in Dublin. You would see different nationalities on it. Why? Because I know my audience. I know the audience I'm trying to target. There are certain people that they would never attend any of your programs if they don't see their kind on the flyer. And that's how things work. We are emotional people. We are social beings. So we want to associate with our own kind. It is natural. It is normal. Let's run very quickly. I've got a few more minutes to go. I'm going to try and wrap this up very, very quickly. The next thing is have an online presence. I think Funke talked about this. Have a website that is optimized for global audiences. Okay. I think it was who was mentioning that yesterday. I think it was Mr. Bolaji that was talking about that yesterday. When I started my program as well, I used to price all my value, all my products in Naira and everything. But I realized, okay, if I want to reach an international market, the guy in Dallas does not understand what Naira is. Some of them, you'll be surprised, they've never heard of that currency before. So am I pricing? That means I have segmented them. I don't even want them to buy my product. So if I wanted them, what was the most internationally accepted currency? It was dollars. So right now, all my products are packaged in dollars. However, I'll tell you something very interesting. Late last year, I was trying to get a company I was trying to do some business with a company in the UK, right, in London. So as usual, all my packages are priced in dollars and everything, and I sent it to them. One of the contacts that I had in the company called me quietly and he said to me, you need to understand that this is the UK. Their pride is the pound. That British pound, the pound sterling, is the pride of the British people. The reason why they pulled out of EU was because they wanted to protect that pound. As far as they're concerned, that's the greatest currency in the world. So if you send a proposal to a British man and you put dollar on it, forget it, they will not even listen to you. He called me and he told me, so, oh, I'm learning. I had to withdraw my proposal and change all the currencies to pounds for that audience. These are things you need to understand. If you want to reach a global audience, you need to be aware of all of these things. Create localized content for different regions. Okay, leveraging social media to connect with customers. One of my own personal targets, I'm not sure how quickly I can achieve this, is I want to start coaching people in different languages. So I want to learn at least 3 foreign languages. I started learning Irish. Why? Like I said, I want to be an international brand. So if I have someone from Spain that wants to get me as a coach, but he doesn't speak English, how can I be of service to him if I cannot speak Spanish? So I need to learn Spanish. I need to learn French. I'm learning Irish because I'm in Ireland, but I want to learn at least 3 other languages so that I can be of value to those that do not speak my language. Think global. Let's run. Build a strong brand reputation. That's very key. Establish trust, credibility in the new market. One of the things I did when I moved to Ireland here was I started, do you know what it was? I held my first conference in Dublin less than 9 months after I relocated here. You can imagine a young guy, I just relocated here, I didn't know anybody, and I decided to hold a conference here. And this conference was hugely attended by even people from this nationality. Why? I have been building this credibility. Now, my conferences have developed to the point where I'm having these guys send me emails every day. Oh, I want to be on your next conference. Oh, I want to speak at your conference. Many of these guys, I don't even look for them anymore. If I had not built a credibility, a reputation to an extent, these guys would not be coming to speak to me. They will not be coming to ask to speak on my conference. In the Dublin conference, I'm having the Lord Mayor of Dublin speak at that conference. If she had not seen my reputation over the years or the very few months that I've been in Ireland, she would not say she wants to come and speak at my conference. So it is important to build a strong brand reputation. Develop strategies for managing your brand reputation online and all of that. I'm sure Mr. Emeka talked a lot about that. Develop partnerships and collaborations to expand your reach, which is part of what I'm leveraging on now. So I'm in contact with a number of people. I'm working on certain partnerships so that I can expand my reach here in this environment where I am. Okay, that was my timer that I just went. So I know I have a couple of minutes to go. I know my time is up, so I'm just going to try and wrap this up very quickly. The next thing is number 5. Measure your success. I've talked a lot about this, how to measure. So have your KPIs, your key performance indicators. What are the things you're looking out for? What are you measuring? Are you measuring we just heard about customer experience and all of that. It is very important. Use analytics to track your brand's performance in different regions. The thing is, we are in an era where technology helps us to do a number of things. Even on this program right now, when we are done with this, Mr. Bolaji can take up the video and track the performance. How many people came on this conference? How many people how many people watched for 30 minutes? How many people came in and went out? What kind of devices did they join from? Were they mobile devices? Where did they join from? You can track all of those things. And it is very key to help you to plan and then how to pivot your strategy based on the insights that you gather. So these are the things that would help you. We've talked about 5 keys. So first of all, we looked at the keys to develop a brand. And then now we've talked about the key to develop a global brand. There's so many things to talk about, but I'm very conscious of my time. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much. Now, before I go, Mr. Bolaji has said, yes, I can talk about some of my programs and all of that. You heard me talking about my conferences and all of that. The last conference I had was in London, right? It was an in-person conference in London, but my conferences are usually hybrid, so you can join from any parts of the world. The next conference is happening in Dublin. Now, these are the people that will be speaking at the next conference, and I can guarantee you, each of these people that will be speaking, these are personalities that you'll be paying in upwards of $15,000 to have them speak at your conference for an hour. I can tell you, some of these guys, like I said, the Lord Mayor of Dublin is going to be speaking and all of that. But then this conference is coming to you at no cost, absolutely free, and it's a hybrid event. It's a hybrid event. So if you are in London in Dublin or in and around Dublin, you can join this, or you can join virtually. All you have to do is register to be a part of that. But then I say to people, you don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. Why am I saying that? Mr. Bolaji has done a fantastic job. He has given us this conference at no cost to you. Okay. But if you think that free conferences or free programs like this is what will help you to achieve the result that you want in life, you are mistaken. Like I said, you don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. So if you are someone that all you're looking for is free conference, someone that will deliver a program to you and not pay you, by the time you start your own business, the only people you would attract are those that are looking for free service. People that want your service but are not ready to pay you. You'll be wondering, you're working so hard and you're not making progress. Why? Because you're not the person that can invest in other people as well. So until you grow and graduate to the point where you can invest in your own knowledge, invest in your own things, nobody would invest in you. That is how life works, either you like it or not. So in addition to, I do a lot of free programs, right? So this conference is absolutely free. However, this will not get you to the promised land. It won't take you to where you need. So I have a number of programs as well, if you want to be a part of that. One of them is called the Business Leadership and Business Growth Academy. This next edition is holding in London, but as usual, it's a hybrid event. So in as much as it's holding in London City, we can connect all over as well. You see the speakers see you and all of that. We have a one-on-one interaction. It's a full masterclass. You get your workbook and all of that. All of those combined together in this. Now, the virtual experience of this conference, of this masterclass, is $49, which is about $50. But Mr. BJ, I've not told you this. For those that are on this program right now, those that are signed up for this program, I'm giving it at 50% discount. So I'll give you all you need to do. If you go onto the website, put in startup, you would get a 50% discount, which means you can get this for $25 thereabout. That is unimaginable, but then it is only available for the first 10 people. So if you want to be a part of that, go get that. For those that are in London as well, just perhaps you're watching this in London, you want to be a part of this, the original price is $199, but you can get it as 50% discount if you want that. Now, the last thing I'll talk about is I have a coaching program, which I call the #1 program to help you accelerate growth in your life, in your career, and your business in just 12 weeks. That's what we have. If you're interested in this as well, for those that are here, we'll give you a discount. Sometimes we give discounts of up to 90%, but because we have different packages, I need to have a conversation with you. We need to know what exactly it is you want to achieve, and then we can offer a discount. But for all of those that are here, once you send me an email, I'll give you send an email. We will know that you came from this conference, and we'll offer that discount to you, up to 90% discount for those that are here for this particular program. Thank you very much, Mr.
See me here just smiling, as in I've taken so much notes, and I felt I couldn't catch up. I have to watch this all over again tomorrow, right? Sherry, I want to say thank you. Are you still there? Can you hear me? Okay, good. I want to say thank you for spending time with us tonight, right? One of the things you said that really threw me away, as in progress. actually means the combination of growth and ethics, right? So it's growth plus ethics, that because a lot of time we think progress actually means growth. So it's the growth plus the ethics. And I really hope people that are on this call right now, they got that, and everybody that will be watching this later also will get that. You also mentioned something like it's better to grow daily, right, than to grow once in a while. It might be bit by bit daily, right, than to just grow long centimeter today and then there's nothing called growth again for the next 16 weeks, right? So it's very important to make sure that the growth is consistent. Then for everyone on this call, please, I think we should do this exercise wherever you are. Local brands, international brand, global brands, then the local brand. So please, if you are still on this call, you can type where you think you are. Are you still at the local brand? Are you at the international brand? Are you at the global brand? Are you at the local brand, right? Just like you said, 2020 changed a lot of things for us, and we moved global, right? And that's why we could have something like this today, right? Failure is an executive part of an entrepreneur's journey. I wrote quite a lot of things: finding your bliss, track, measure, and communicate. Whatever you cannot measure cannot be improved upon, right? And one important thing you said also is that we should communicate in the language people understand. No matter the value I have, no matter the content I have, no matter the impact I want to make, if I come here just like you said and I'm speaking Spanish, the people I'm talking to might not understand, right? So I want to say thank you very, very much. Please, all those your flyers for the event, please send them to me, guys. If an event is $49 and is giving us at $25, I think you should look into it. You really, really need to look into it. Please send it to me. I wouldn't mind to put them up on my page as well, if you permit me to do that, right?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right about now, we're going to the third and the final speaker. Interestingly, she's in the UAE. She's 3 hours ahead of us. So you must know she has really put in some sacrifice for her to be here waiting for us, right? All the way. But before I bring her up, someone asked a question. Kayode Yetunde says, can one get customers abroad as a cake vendor or baker, right? That's not exactly how she puts it, but that's what the question meant. I'm just paraphrasing. So she's saying that if for instance, she's a baker, she's a cake vendor, and she's asking if she could get a customer out there. It's quite difficult for you to do that. You can't ship things like that out there. But this is the point. Your nature of business has two sides: the product and the service side, the knowledge side. Now, it seems you're focusing too much on the product, right? Because I listed it that there are things you can sell, trainings, courses, recipes. You can develop recipes and you sell. You can package courses and you sell. If you go on YouTube, you see people you've never met before from different continents that are teaching people how to bake, right? So these are things you can do. What about you targeting teenagers that are just leaving school in Africa and they do not have jobs, and you created a YouTube channel for them and you keep teaching them how to bake, the simple ways to bake without you paying so much, and they have to buy this for $2, for $5, for $10, no matter what, and they sign into your YouTube page and they watch all these things, or you found a new recipe and you package it into a course and people pay for it, they download it, they pay for it, and you understand, you might not be able to ship your cake to Uganda or to ship it to Cameroon or ship it to outside of Africa, right? But the knowledge you can actually teach people that are in other continents via YouTube. Maximize technology. That's what we're talking about, right? Because she is in Ireland right now. He just spoke to us for a few minutes and we could get some. I hope Kayode Yetunde could get something from this, right? All right, let me go to the energetic EJ. Oh my, it's going to be amazing tonight, and this is the final part, guys. I don't want you to leave. I'm coming back after this, and I have a news for you. All right, let me quickly read a part of our profile. it's quite long. I can't finish that. She's an amazing lady. All right. Ejiro Osakede, known as the energetic EJ, is a woman of many expressions. She's a singer, a trainer, a sound engineer, a voiceover artist, a podcaster, and an event host. She's the resident MC at the Female Founders Initiative, MEA. She's an award recipient from various organizations like She Awards, Recognition Awards by One Connect, Phenomenal Personality in Diaspora by the Iconic Brand Awards. She's an audiobook creator for African authors with works from notable authors like Edirin Edewor's Amazon's best-selling book, The Productivity Checklist. Amaka Ezie's My Sister's Bestie, and Adewale Richards' 3 Things About the Gospel Project. Several books also by Dr. Stephen Akitayo and many more. She has worked with great people like that. She's dedicated to training and supporting audiobook creators. For instance, someone just asked that question. Now she could help you create your own podcast. She could train you on all of those things. That's what she does, right? As well as provide support via closed community. Because of time, I'm going to bring her up right away. Energetic EJ, are you there? What do you have for us tonight? So are you bringing the wind, the fire, or the snow? Do we have EJ there? Can you please come live?
Remove this from the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
all
fantastic.
right. She's there. The energetic EJ. Good evening.
Good evening. Well, it's almost morning where I am.
It's almost
so
morning
see
on
that
your
my
own
eyes
side.
are already dimming. My eyes are already
So,
dimming, but please, no, while we're here.
No,
Amazing.
just bear with us. How's it been? Since
Amazing
yesterday,
session
following
so
the
far.
session.
Wow. So I missed yesterday's session because I was out of town. But then
Okay.
I've been here since the beginning of the session.
Thank
Funke's
you.
session was everything. In fact, she scattered the ground for me. I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do here? Go. Like, what's my job here really? Because they finished everything. Like they
No,
cleared it.
I trust you.
And now
I
they left
trust
the
you.
bottom
So
part for me. But seriously, what am I supposed to do?
I'm waiting
But
for
anyway,
the energy. So
no
will you
problem.
bring
Let
it
us
on?
deliver what we're here to deliver.
All right.
And
Thank you.
let's just, do what we've got to do. All right, fantastic. Good evening, everyone. Who is still here with us? Let me know if anybody's still here with me so that I know I'm not alone. Who is still here with me? Please type in the comments. We are here. Let me know. Even if it's one person, I'm okay. I'm a one person kind of person. If you are the one person that's still remaining in this live session, then you are my person. You are the person that's supposed to be in this session. And I'm okay with that. But I need to know you're here. So if you're still here with us, let me say in the comment section, say I am here. Debbie Ryan has been here. She's been commenting. She's been scribbling. She's been taking notes. She's been reaffirming what the speakers are saying. I celebrate you, Debbie. Thank you for being here. Dosa as well. I see you. Dosa Noluapo. I see you. Thank you so much. And there's another person that's been scribbling a lot. I think it's Nigel Onos. But well done, guys. You guys are amazing. Okay, so I would not take time at all. So I'm going to be going very fast because again, you can see my headlight is doing like this. My headlight is doing like this. So naturally I have this, slant eyes. So yeah, but this one is closing. You can see that it feels like I'm squinting because my headlamp is coming low, but that's by the way. But let's do this. All right. Femi, I see you. Femi Farambi, thank you so much for being here. So my topic today is leveraging the power of your voice, right? Leveraging the power of your voice for building a global brand. No, I'm not using the slides here. Just leave that. That's not my slide. Yeah, I'm not using a slide. That's just what I'm going to talk about in the end. Something that I'm offering for those who are here right now. So my topic today is, I need you to listen and leverage and scribble in the comments. Let me know you're with me, all right? So we're talking about leveraging the power of your voice in building a global brand. So like I said, I am going to rush through it. So I hope that you are ready to come along with me. If you are ready, please type in the comments and say, I am ready. Ejiro, bring it on. Let me see. Say energetic EJ, bring it on. We are ready. Who is with me? Who is with me? Tell me. Give me go ahead. Let me see the green lights. Any green light for me? Going. Going. Where's the green light? Nobody's with me. No, only me waka come. I trust that nobody only me waka come. Fantastic. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Joseph. Okay, fantastic. So this is what we're going to do. Again, the topic is leveraging the power of your voice. If you want to type it, you can type it also for reference. Leveraging the power of your voice in building a global brand, right? So I'm going to be, quickly, I'll give definitions to those power words. In fact, almost all the words in that topic, and then I'll bring it all together. Now, first thing is leverage. We're talking about leverage. What is leverage? Leverage is using something to maximum advantage. Now, I am defining this word because, and the definitions here, there are different definitions to the word, but I'm picking the one that suits the context of which I want to talk about today. All right. So leverage is to use something to maximum advantage. What is power? Power is the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behaviors of others or change the course of an event. So when you say you have power, it means you have the ability, you have the capacity to direct or influence the behaviors of others or the event or the course of events. That's the second definition I'm giving to you. Definition of the word number 3 is the voice, which is the matter that we're here to discuss today. What is the topic again? You're leveraging the power of your voice to build a global brand or for building a global brand. And I've told you what leverage is, which is using something to the maximum advantage. I've told you what power is, which is the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behaviors of others or the course of event. Now, what is your voice? Apart from this thing that you can hear, the vibration, the sound that you can hear right now, your voice in the context of which I want to speak to you about is the distinct tone or style of a literary work or author or an agency by which a point of view is expressed or represented. I will say that again. Your voice is the distinct tone or style of a literary work or of an author or of a person or of a brand. And we're coming to brand, right? So your voice is that thing that makes you distinct. Your tone, your style. Follow me. I'm going somewhere. The next word that I want to define is build. What does it mean to build? To build means to make stronger. Fantastic. Morenchis, thank you. To build is to make stronger or to make more intense or to establish and develop a business, a situation, a solution over a period of time. I'll say that again. To build is to make stronger or more intense, establish and develop a thing, a business, a career, a brand over a period of time. And if you listened to Coach Shei earlier on, he told you the different type of brand that exists. In fact, he laid a solid foundation for me, right? The different type of brands that exist, the key element of brands generally, and the key element of global brands. So you already laid those foundation. And one of the things he talked about is building your credibility over time. So when it comes to building, it takes time. It happens over time. And again, what he said about growth is when you focus on compounding interest, compounding growth every day, 1% growth, step upon step upon step upon step is better than you go like this, like this, like all these people that trade. All you people that trade, you see how your this will go like this, it will go like this, will go like this. That's why people are having that attack up and down. It's going up and coming and turning on their own, right? So what we are looking for here is consistent growth. is compounding growth, which means you are making progress steadily, slowly but surely. That's what it means to build. So it's not about virality. It's not about, I did one thing, boo, everybody heard of me, pew, and then the next thing, pew, nobody hears anything again. Nope, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about consistent growth, right? Building. Now, what is global? Again, Coach Sheyi just finished the work for me. He has already given you too much examples around global. In fact, his own example was like, okay, I need to go and take lessons. I want to be one of his clients. You understand? From local to international to global. I think he even, anyway, in a way, is joining everything back on now, like everything is together around, like local and everything. But I love how he explained it from local to international to global, and then global now due to COVID and things like that. But yes, so global is relating to the whole wide world, which means that whether you go to Asia, America, South America, you are in Africa, you are was Britain, Australia, wherever you are, Middle East, you are relevant. Whatever you bring to the table, the value that you bring to the table is relevant. And again, in fact, Coach Sheyi just did all the work for me. I like, thank you so much, Sheyi Agbede. You did an amazing work, right? So it's like adapting your value to the different kinds of people that you serve, especially when you're beginning to think global. But there is no thinking global if you don't first of all dominate local. You need to understand that. If you listen to his story, you would see that that's what he also did. He first of all understood the template, created the template in his local environment, understood what works, and then became easier for him to adapt it to different cultures, to different people, to the different nationalities. All right. So you can see now, again, they say success leaves clue. So he has given us a clue. He has left us a clue, like we can follow that same pattern. So when you are where you are, wherever you are right now, like Sabolaji said, like, we don't know, you should start gauging, where are you? Are you local? Are you international? Are you global? Are you local? Which one? Know where you are. Again, what you don't measure, you cannot improve. What you don't measure, you cannot make better. So decide or think about it and know where you are in that scale of things. Are you local? Are you local? Because if you're local, then you say, okay, fine. I have a hold of this thing. I have a hold of my brand. I've talked about what Madam Funke talked about. I understand my customers and I've created the customer experience for them. Based on that, if you now want to create another customer experience for a different culture, you will pick elements from the existing things you have and then adapt it to the new market. All right. So that's global, talking about being relatable, being, relating to the whole world. And finally, brand. Again, I don't know. They finished the work for me. But what I have here is your brand is the particular identity or image that is regarded as an asset. That is the key word. Your brand is regarded as an asset. It means that it is something, just like what the example he gave about Kanye. It's an asset, and that's why people or the brands he was working with, when that brand or the value that it carries did not align with what they represent, they had to pull out. Nope, you're not going to tamper with our brand because the brand is an asset. Coach Sheyi also said it, that whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not, you are a brand. You should know. In case you don't know, now you know. Okay, since you're here, you know that you're a brand. So you might as well start to be very intentional about the way you show up, about the brand that you want to build. Someone said the other day, I was in a session when they said, branding is what other people say about you. Your brand is what people say about. When you come to mind, what do they think? When you come to mind, what do they say? When people interact with you, what word, what adjective describes you? That is your brand. So if you're not being intentional to build it, then they will give you They will give you a name. They will give you a brand. Coach Funke was saying that it's she called it something. You know, the customer experience. They would give you like a perception. It says it's a game of perception. So your brand is how people perceive you. So you have to be intentional about that perception. Funke said something that if the expectation or the perception that people have about you when they come to you for a solution, for a service, for a product or anything, that you don't meet it, you lost them. You've lost that customer, all right? Because then it's like, your brand message does not correlate with who they think you are. So that is why intentionality is key here. All right, where am I going? I bring it back. I'll do a quick recap in this section and then I'll move to the next session. First of all, I told you that the topic I'm dealing with today is leveraging the power of your voice in building a global brand. And then I broke down these words that make up this topic. Leverage. Leverage is to use something to maximum advantage. Power is the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behaviors of others or the course of event. Voice is your distinct or the distinct tone or style of a person, of a work, of a brand, or agency by which a point of view is expressed or represented. Build is to make stronger or more intense. Establish and develop a business, a solution, a brand over a period of time. Talking about credibility. Global, related to the whole wide world. And finally, brand, which is a particular identity. Are we there? Which is a particular identity or image regarded as an asset. So now that you know that your brand is an asset, you want to pay attention to it. You don't joke with it. Because again, if you lose your assets, that's a huge loss, right? It's not a liability, it's a huge loss when you lose your assets. Like you lose your land or right? So let me bring it down together for you now. So when I say leveraging your voice, to build a global brand, leveraging the power of your voice in building a global brand, I'm saying, how do you use to a maximum advantage the capacity or your ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events with your distinct tone or style of work, to make stronger or more intense, to establish and develop over a period of time in a way that is relevant or relatable to the whole wide world, while maintaining a particular identity or image that is regarded as an asset. So the question beckons, for you to leverage a thing, you must first of all acknowledge that you have that thing, right? Because now you know that leverage is using something to the maximum advantage. That means for you to use something, you probably have it. And you need to be aware that you have it. Because if you're not aware that you have it, you can't use it. Are we together? Let me know that we're together. Put together in the comment section, right? So for you to be able to leverage a thing, you must first acknowledge that you have it. So my question to you right now is, do you acknowledge that you have a voice? It might not be clear yet. It might not be fully formed in your mind yet. You might not be able to articulate it as it were right now. But first of all, do you even accept it? Do you acknowledge that you have a voice? That you have a distinct style or tone or way that you do something? And I can tell you that even without you being able to articulate it, if you sit down and just say now, think about it. There's somebody somewhere, a friend of yours that have known you for years, or maybe your parents or your siblings, that they can beat their chest and say something about you. For example, somebody can say, maybe somebody came and say, Femi, Shade, we saw Femi in the street though. He's fighting and breaking bottles. Shade will say, lie. It cannot be my own Femi. Never. It can't be my own Femi. Maybe the person looks like him. It's not my Femi. Why? Because Shade knows that his own Femi, rather than him to fight in the open, in the public, to break bottle, he will probably walk away to cool off, because that's the value that he carries. Do you understand? So, do you acknowledge? Now, do you acknowledge that you have a distinctive tone and style of doing things? Do you acknowledge that you are an agency through which point of views are expressed or represented? Again, you will see or you will hear even some brands like news agency, they'll tell you we are the voice of the people. That's because they have taken it upon themselves to represent maybe the marginalized or the minority, and say these people are voiceless. They can't fight for themselves. So I'm going to take it upon myself to be the voice of the voiceless. They become an agency through which, an opinion or a matter is expressed or represented. That's another thing. It needs to be a voice. So when it comes to advocacy, that's what it means. And they've taken it upon themselves to represent these people. But again, you as a person, what do you represent? What do you stand for? That is your voice. Because again, there are two ways you can use your voice. You can use it literally, like I'm just speaking now, right? And I'll come to that in the ways that you can use your voice. You can be a singer, you can be a speaker, you can be a podcaster, you can be an audiobooks narrator, you can be an interpreter, you can be an animator, you can be a voiceover artist, commercials and things like that, right? But then again, that is just you using the voice literally. Again, you have to train, you have to be skilled to do all of those things. But in the representation of who you are, in the style with which you do things, what can we say about you? What is your voice in that regard? Can people say, when it comes to this person is an excellent orator. This person is, this person is like this. If you look at my name, if you look at, if you followed me for a while, there is something that will come to you. That is my flavor, right? So again, I ask you, for you to be able to be a voice, you first of all need to acknowledge that you have a voice, and you have to own your space. Because again, you remember that what a brand stands for is that thing that's your asset. Your brand is your asset. It's the identity, it's the image that is your asset. So for you to now be able to build that global asset, you have to first of all start from the place of knowing that, okay, this is my distinct style. This is how I want to show up, and showing up consistently. So everything that you've heard tonight builds upon each other with the customer service. When people are looking at you, the people that you've been called to serve, because when you talk about customers, it's not only if you're selling a product or if you're offering a service. Sometimes it could just be that it's the people that your life has been called to inspire. Those are your customers, those are your audience, right? So the way that they relate with you, what feedback are they giving you? What perception is the perception that they have about you? Is it consistent? And that's how you begin to form your voice, right? I hope we're together. Now, how can you then leverage the voice? How can you leverage your voice? So at this point, I want to believe that now you know that you need to first of all acknowledge that you have a voice. In fact, you are the voice, right? And you have this identity that is your asset. So you already have an idea that you need to carve an image that you want, a message. It could be a word for you. It could be a phrase for you that when you show up, every time you show up, in whatever way that you express yourself. Because, for example, I'm a multi-influential person, so I flow in different direction. But there is that common thread. Whether I am here speaking as a speaker, or I am in the studio recording a song, singing, or I'm in the studio recording a podcast with my guests, or I'm training people on how to set up their own podcast, or I'm narrating a book, there is that one thing that stands out. Or I'm even emceeing an event, a physical event. There is that one thing that stands out. which is the brand that I'm building, which is the brand that I'm building over time. And that's the energy that I come with. So whether I'm like, hey, it's a party, oh yeah, let's party, or here, and I'm like, here, I'm sitting down, but you can still feel the energy. Even though it's 12:20 a.m. where I am right now. When we started, my eyes was like this. Can you see that it's now like this? Right? Because that is it. That's my flavor. That's who I am. That's the identity that I'm carrying. That's the brand that I'm building for myself. The energetic EJ, meaning that I bring that positive, and not any type of energy, but the positive kind of energy in anything that I'm doing. Right? So then, how can you then leverage your voice, which is this distinct style of how you do things? Right? So whether you want to use your literal voice, or you want to use the implied voice, which is your message, the way that you show up in the world, how can you leverage it, to build a global brand? Number one, again, goes back to all I've said before, which is identify what makes you different. What is your flavor? What sets you apart? What is that one thing that every time you show up, people can testify to? There are people that I have one of my coaches, Idiri Edewo. Idiri Edewo, she's such a powerhouse. She cannot, and the thing is, she cannot speak beyond a certain decibel. No matter how you want to do it, she cannot speak beyond a certain decibel. That's like a level. When you have volume, it cannot pass a particular volume. But she's constantly, like, you cannot disappoint, delivering value at that same level. And that's one thing that engages people. So anytime whether you are in a class or you are sitting right with her, you are forced to listen, because her voice cannot go beyond a certain level. But she's dropping powerful nuggets, right? But we know her to be a moving knowledge. That's her brand. I speak to her. I speak to her. I get into a coaching session with her. I go with her with one idea. I'll come back with like 52 ideas. Because she will expand it. She will see like, this thing, you will go with one. That one will now have plenty children behind it. That's who she is. That's her brand. She's a multiplier. All right? So identify what makes you different. What is your flavor? There is something. And the truth is, most of us have this thing. Some of us have an idea. We have identified it, but we are discounting it because it does not look like what somebody else has. It's not, me, I don't have, I'm not confident. Look at her, she's just talking. Me, I cannot do it though. But even if you think you're not as confident as me, I can tell you that your confidence, the way that your confidence expresses itself might be different from how mine expresses itself. But the fact that you're confident, you are. You want to know when you're confident? When you know what you're saying, you know you're confident. Haven't you narrated like a movie to your friends before? And you are telling the story again as if you were there with the writer when they were writing the story. You were confident at that point. So you are confident. But when it comes to certain things, maybe you say, once I see camera like this, I cannot talk, or I don't know how to talk. But when you're with your friends, you see, it's the same you that will talk, that they will be begging, it's okay now, Debbie, it's okay, we go ahead. Right? So identify that thing that makes you different, that thing that is your flavor. Then when you're done identifying, the next thing you should do is to embrace it. Because again, what you don't, it's like, if I give you 1 million now and you don't know I gave it to you and you did not accept it, you cannot behave like you are a millionaire because you don't know, right? But the moment you know, even if the money is not yet in your account, but you probably, maybe I send you a screenshot of the check that I wrote your name on it, your attitude changes immediately. Like, yeah, in fact, you know how you go and order things even before the real money comes to your account. You will talk to people anyhow before the money comes to your account, simply because you've seen a proof of it. So once you identify that thing that makes you different, your flavor, embrace it. And again, embracing it can be sometimes difficult because sometimes, we have all these voices in our heads. A lot of us struggle with imposter syndrome. A lot of us struggle with self-image. A lot of us struggle with what's that thing they call it? Self-esteem issues. So one way or some ways that you can ensure that you embrace it is affirm to yourself daily. So once you discover that thing that makes you different, that thing that is your flavor, and sometimes it might take you asking people around you to identify, just to be sure, so that I think it's a scripture that says, for those of us who are Christian, that from the mouth of 2 or 3 a truth is established, right? So you might want to take a survey. You might want to ask people around you, like, when you think about me, what stands out? And then you combine the words or the things that they say. You're probably going to see that one thing that multiple people say about you. That could be the beginning of what your identifier or your differentiator is. And it can evolve over time. It can get better over time because as humans, we are evolving beings. All right. So know that one thing and then embrace it. So for you to be able to embrace it and etch it and own it, you affirm to yourself every day, I'm an energetic being. I carry positive energy. Everywhere I show up, there's positive energy oozing. Like, people fall in love with me. People just love me. Not everybody's going to love me, but the ones who will, they love me without being able to explain why, because of the positive energy that I carry. So you affirm it to yourself daily. You accept compliments when it is given to you. Somebody must have said, so when you find out that thing, somebody must have said it to you before, like, man, babe, I love your energy. Like, it's just because I'm happy today. No, accept it. Accept the compliment when they give it to you. When they say, oh my God, you speak so well. If you hear my sister speak, you know that me, I'm learning. Accept it. Accept it. Accept the compliment. Tell them, oh, wow, thank you. Thank you. I know. Affirm it to yourself again. You are etching it in your own mind. Then don't for any reason discount it. Don't say it is tiny. Let's say this small thing. No. See, your own differentiator might even be the fact that your smile is distinct. It might be something as tiny as that, but don't discount it, because you don't even know how that simple smile can change the world of somebody, can turn somebody's bad day around just because you smiled at them, but because that's what is your differentiator. I met somebody one time and she's like, she learned early in life. She's gone through a very tough life, right? But she learned early in life to train her face never to show what is going on the inside. So she might be going through difficulty inside, but her face remains smiling. I was like, ma'am, well done. That's a lot of work. But that alone is a test, is something that everybody around her now says, like, man, you're always smiling. And so she emits this vibe of hope. If you're around her, you always feel relaxed. You always feel like, see, there's nothing coming that we cannot handle. No challenge is coming that we cannot handle, because she has trained her face to smile even when things are going on the inside. Do you understand? So don't discount it, no matter how tiny that thing that separates you, that thing that makes you different from every other person, that thing that adds flavor, that brings your own peculiar flavor, no matter how tiny it is, do not discount it. Own it and be proud of it. See, let me take my own story. Is at some point before I finally embraced it, like, say, hey, see, this is my energy. It's ability. It's not, it's not ability. It's ability. For those of you who are not Yoruba and who will be watching this outside of Nigeria, ability is more like, it is custom made for me. It is follow come. It is factory setting for me. My energy is factory setting. I did not manufacture it. I am not forcing it. I'm not trying to build. It is inbuilt. It is inbuilt, and it has always been there. But guess what? It was given a name that it was not. So while I was growing up, while I was, a child, a teenager, and then into adulthood, people gave it a name that it was not, because I also did not recognize what it was. People called it, you're too, what's the word they used to use a lot? You're too everywhere. You're too out there. You're too, There's a what they call people that are very, you're too extroverted. You know, extrovert is even good, like, oh, you're friendly, but it's more like you are too much. You know how people just say you are too much, right? And so because of that, I felt it was a bad thing. And so I would like to adapt and be accepted in circles. And so when I get to a circle where everybody is like this, I will try to be like this, but that's not my core. That's not my person. And so it was given a name that was not. But the moment in 2020 did a lot for a lot of us, right? I rediscovered myself in 2020. I rediscovered who I was. And that was when I got in touch with this thing that has always been there, but has been given a wrong name. And like say, hey, this thing is energy, hey, energetic EJ. And that name stuck. And the moment I embraced it, guys, I cannot get into a conversation with somebody, even without them knowing that my brand name is Energetic EJ. They just say EJ or Ejiro. The next, within the first hour, maximum 30 minutes, they're like, wow, I love your energy. I love your vibe. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. That's why they call me the Energetic EJ, right? They did not call me. I called myself. I called myself and they started to call me the Energetic EJ. So own it and be proud of it. All right. Now, that's number one. Number two. So first things, how to leverage your voice. You identify what makes you different. What's your flavor? Then number two, you embrace it. The third thing you want to do is then you fine tune it. So now you've known this thing, you fine tune it. So let me give myself as an example again. I know this is an energy thing and everything, but I cannot always be like this every time and in every situation or in every context. I host events, for example. The vibe I'm going to give in a party will be different from the vibe I'm going to give in a corporate event, even though I am still the energetic EJ. And they're still going to get some energy. They're still going to get the energy of me, right? But that is me then learning to fine-tune this unique thing, this differentiator, this flavor, to be able to dish it out to different people at different times, right? So fine-tune it. And what are some ways that you can fine-tune it? Go for knowledge. Learn, unlearn, relearn. I've even come to notice that, see, even, naturally as Nigerians, we are loud. We are loud people. We are loud people. But now I am learning to, tone down the decibels of my voice. Like, so that, for us, check it out. If we're anywhere, like, our excitement is in the loudness of our voice. So sometimes people are like just very excited about, but somebody else will be like, what happened? What happened? What happened? And I say, no. It's been long. I saw him. So that we are very loud. But now in a different culture, meeting different people, meeting different nationalities, I'm beginning to learn to curb it, to fine-tune it, to know that calm down, it should not be more than this. If you are in a place where you are with only your people, you can go everywhere, you can scream and everything. But when you are in a different setting, just reduce the volume a bit because they can hear you. I've literally been with somebody before. We are talking and I'm just trying to explain what I was saying and my voice was already increasing. And the person was like, calm down, I can hear. I was embarrassed, like, I'm sorry, right? But that is me fine-tuning it. I've owned it. I know this is my energy. I know this is what separates me. I know this is my blessing to the world. I know it. But then I'm not going to shove it off on people's throats, right? I'm going to fine-tune it so that I can serve it within context in at different times, right? So get knowledge, learn, unlearn, and relearn. Go for mentorship. In the process of fine-tuning it, go for mentorship. And mentorship, I know, you see, mentorship and coaching, they are not the same thing. Mentorship is more like nurturing. It's like parenting. So it might be more difficult for you to get a mentor than it is for you to get a coach. Because for coaching is guidance. Coaches guide you. They don't tell you what to do, but they guide you. They ask you questions. And with the questions, you yourself, you are going to begin to come up. They give you resources. They help you with tools to help you make your decisions, right? But when it comes to mentorship, they are more invested in who you are, what you are doing, what you rep. Your mentor is as good as your father or your mother in your field that they are mentoring you on. And so they are invested. Your mentor can give you assignment and they're not born like it should not even be a thing that you negotiate. You have to go and do the assignment. If your mentor says go and research this thing, research it, do extra, create a presentation out of that research and take it back to them. That is mentorship. It is more detailed. It is more intimate. That's why you can't have too much mentees. You can't have too many mentees. How do you want to do it? Because mentorship is deeper than coaching. It's deeper than being a role model. A lot of people say, this is my mentor. You just throw the words anyhow. No, maybe they are role models because you see something. If they are your mentors, they are invested in you. They know you. It's a relationship. All right. So if you are blessed to have somebody like that in your life, congratulations. Do not joke with it. Learn everything you can learn. Learn by observation, learn by asking questions, learn by service. Serve them. Go for mentorship. Find someone to serve in return for more knowledge and how to fine-tune your assets. Get a coach. Get a coach. A coach is that person that will guide you. A coach is somebody who probably has been in the field before, or maybe not necessarily deeply in the field, but they have techniques, they have knowledge enough about the field that you're in to be able to guide you, to say, okay, no, have you tried this? Have you done it like this? These are some resources that can help you. This is how some other people have done it that has worked for them, and they can then guide you, right? So fantastic, Debbie. Awesome. Right? So get a coach, someone to guide you and help you execute on your voice. So your coach actually help you take action. They help you, they guide you to take action. All right, so that's in your process of fine-tuning it. The next thing you want to do after fine-tuning, not that you've accepted, you've embraced, you have fine-tuned. What is next is to deploy. Yes, deploy it. What are you going to do? Deploy it. Use the voice. Use it. Don't let any opportunity to use your voice slip by. Any opportunity for you to show or bring the value that you have on the table, take it, apply it. Because even in the process of deploying it, you are also fine-tuning it, right? So deploy, use it. Be willing to pay your dues. Please, let it not be heard that people in this conference, that you're one of those people that fall into the trap of instant gratification. You want it, and you want it now. You want to blow now. You want to go viral. I want to go viral now. No. There's a process. Follow the process. Build it. Precept upon precept. Step upon step. That is how you make it solid. That is how you make it foundational. Go and check it out. If you see the ancient buildings, that's why like the things like the pyramids, they've been there for thousands of years, but they are not destroyed. They are not falling apart. They are not crumbling. Meanwhile, houses that they built many years ago, some are coming crashing without earthquake, coming back to, Nigeria, for example. You see buildings because they didn't take time to build it where it comes crashing. But there are houses that they built for years. Rain has come, storm has blown, and they did not move on it because why? They built it precept upon precept, block upon block. They took their time, mortar upon mortar. All right? So you want to build as well. So when you're deploying it, be willing to pay your dues. Don't fall for the trap of instant gratification. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with processes, because it's in the process that you learn. It's in the process that you get better. It's in the process that you are able to distill how you got here so that you can then pass it on to the next person. Look at what Coach Sheyi just did. Even with his presentation alone, he has delivered to us a blueprint. Do you understand? So if as he was talking, my head is already calculating. Oh, wow, this is so good. This is so good. He has delivered to us a blueprint. Create something in your local environment, deploy it, make sure it's working, look for the loopholes, fill those loopholes, then package it and say, okay, how can I serve this package to the international world? Try it out, deploy it, look for the loopholes, fix it. He discovered that, you know what, here I was working with the best salesperson or best sales coach I can work with or best sales consultant I can work with. But with this package, if I bring it to the international market, it might not work. So let me leave this here. It will work for this place, but let me get a new person that understands the international space. Do you see? And then the same way it moves into the global space. So deploy it, be very, very interested, fall in love with processes, and constantly evolve and upgrade to be a better version of yourself. And once you are done deploying, the next thing to do naturally is review. So every time you deploy, review. Every time you deploy, you create a system to get feedback. So that, you know, when we finish from here now, I'll go back and say, Coach Bolaji, how did I do? How can I do it better? If there's a souvenir, please share. What can they give me? What feedback can you give me, people, to say, when next I'm coming, this is something I should do, or in any other conference I'm going, what can I do better? With that feedback, I go back, I process it again. The next appearance I'm going to do, I apply those feedback or the lessons that I've learned from it, and I become better. All right? So for every time you deploy, create a system to get feedback so that you can review your work and capture the blind spots and work on those blind spots. Never be too full of yourself. Remember that the day that you stop to learn is the day that you start to die. And we don't want you to die before your time. We don't want you to die while you are still living. And also remember that there is a room that always has space, and that is the room for improvement. No matter how good you are today, you can always be better. So keep learning, stay humble, and there is no stopping you. All right? And when you're done reviewing, now you have the measurement to say, this is how far I've come, this is what I've done, how can I expand it? So the next level is to now expand it. So you have accepted it, you have recognized it, you have identified it, you've embraced it, you have embraced it, you've fine-tuned it, you have deployed it, you've reviewed it. The next thing is expand it. And that is when you then think of global. Empowered by all the feedback that you get, you can be more, you can increase, expand your reach, knock on doors, show your value to a larger audience, grow your impact to global stages. Be very intentional at that point, because then you know, okay, I'm ready. There's something I have that I want to present to the world. Because I mean, the idea of being a global brand is interesting, but there's a lot of work that comes to it. And you know, I'm a person of faith, and I'm going to speak from that regard. If the foundation is destroyed, the Bible says, what can the righteous do? So that is why it is important that you start from the foundation, that you are building, you're not skipping. You are building, you're not jumping. Compound building. So you understand the processes. So you can relate the process to another person. And that way it's easy to expand. So when you expand, empowered by all those feedback, you expand. And let me tell you, for every expansion is a new level. And so you start all over again. From that new level, you identify it, you embrace it, you fine-tune that new level, you deploy the new level, you review it, and then you expand again. And that's how you continue to grow, to grow, to grow. All right? Now, so one tool that I know that I am sticking with for now, because again, like I said, we're evolving beings. We evolve, we grow, and our calling also evolve as well. So one tool that I know that I've leveraged to grow my brand and is still growing. In fact, with the breakdown that Coach Sheyi gave now, okay, I think I'm still international. Actually, I thought that way that I am global. But right now, I think I'm still international. So we're going global, right? So, but one tool that has helped me so far to be able to break into different cultures and people and meet different people and you know, be able to be known for something is the tool of podcasting. That is the tool for me. That's the tool that I have used and I've helped others use. I've trained other people to use as well. And it is how I help people to use their voices for impact, influence, and income. So in that regard, I have a membership where I am taking people like me and I call my tribe, they are purpose-driven people. So we're not about just the clouds, just the global brand. Those things are beautiful, but we are more about how does all of this thing come together to serve a purpose? Does it align with why I'm here? Does it align with the assignment that God has for me here right now? Is it in alignment with the journey that I'm taking? Impact, influence, and then income. That's what I help my community. That's what I help. That's the brand that I am building to help purpose-driven individuals use their voices for impact, influence, and income. So I have a membership that you can be a part of in that regard. But moving on quickly as I round off this session is I want to end with this. There's a quote I saw that kind of speaks to the power of leverage. It's faith-based, but I'm going to bring it and relate it to what I just said. I will round up the session. I'm a person of faith, and I'll end with this quote from Stephen Furtick, the pastor of the Elevation Church. He quotes, he says, "The goal of faith isn't to take away the fears, but to leverage the fears to create better belief. Faith leads you past your fears and reassures you of God's presence. And after a while, you begin to trust that God is going to lift you above the waves this time, just like He did last time." All right? So, leveraging faith is like leveraging the fear. Like, okay, every time I encounter fear, okay, it means that I can actually trust God because it's going to come through for me. It's good. I'm experiencing this in a very, very unique dimension in my own life currently, where I'm just learning to trust because I know this we've been here before. Maybe not exactly here, but we've been in this place where it feels like no road, everywhere is tight, but you always come through. So now I'm not frenzied anymore. When it feels like comes to my like when my backs are against the wall, I can smile even in that challenge because I know that a way will be made. So the goal of your voice is not just to champion a cause in your local space. It is to leverage your voice to create global solutions. So using your voice to impact lives where you are now gives you a hint that there is a space for you globally if you fine-tune your voice to become relevant worldwide. And so my charge to you today is to know that whether you like it or not, like Coach Sheyi said, you are a brand. So be more intentional, use your voice, grow your impact, and impact your world. And the rest they say is normally history. But of course, we are all working history. And again, we are evolving beings. And so as you evolve into the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level, I need you to remember this, that you have a voice. Your voice can be leveraged for global impact. Thank you so much for having me. If you want to be a part of the community, we're open. It's a membership and you have access to resources, to trainings, to coaching, to support with other podcasters as well that are growing together, and all for just $10 a month. Only. And this is what I have to offer for now. It's a membership and I'm growing an army of people who are going to use their voices for impact, influence, and income. Thank you so much for having me, Coach Bolaji. I hope that I've delivered value to you today.
Oh mine. Thank you so much, Energetic EJ. Thank you for taking so much time. I know you are right in the early hours of the day, This should be like 1 a.m., 12:30
Morning.
thereabout. Yeah. Thank you so much for spending so much time. I've written quite a lot from what you gave to us, identifying what makes you different, right? You mentioned something like knowing your flavor, right? I really love that. I developed something a couple of years ago called the 3Ds, but you have expanded that. The 3Ds, they are discover, then develop, then deploy. Yes, but with this, you've given me more insight into that. You mentioned identifying. We should embrace it. We should own it. The ownership is like you said. If people do not know they have the voice, they might not even be able to make use of it.
Absolutely.
And people feel like I sell products, so I don't need my voice. You need the voice. You do. You need the voice. She trains people on on podcasts, right? And I feel there are some people that are on this call, or people that will watch this video later. They are not here right now, but they watch it later. And I think there is a side to it where people need to start making use of the podcast to teach of their expertise, right?
Absolutely.
So they can teach the side of, like I told Kayode,
like the person who asked for cake. Exactly. When I saw the question, I was like, there are too many things you can do.
Yes.
Like,
the Durian is on this call, and she's an event planner, right? So she could own her own platform where she uses her voice to teach people. She can create a community where she would raise young people who want to go into event management and event planning as well. So yes, so the baker should not just look at the side of adding the flour and all the ingredients and making a cake.
It can even create a recipe.
Thank you. You can create a recipe and teach people how to create theirs or how to get this one. You can sell a course. You can. So we have a lot to do with our voices, right?
Absolutely.
And my voice is different from yours. And you are a faith-based person, so you understand when the Bible says, "My sheep will hear my voice." So I have my own sheep. They will hear my voice.
They will recognize it.
And they will recognize it.
See, it's like they will hear the same thing everywhere else, but that voice that is for them, that is when it will sync. That's when it will click. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know that even till now, there are some certain speakers that are very loaded, yet their messages do not really connect with me like that. But there are some people, even if I'm sleeping and you're on Instagram and their video pops up on your phone,
Rema is dropping.
I'm telling you, it will drop in. So you have a voice, and there are people out there that are waiting for that your voice, but you will never know if you don't make good use of it. So you can contact EJ. EJ has been doing this for years, and she has helped a lot of people. And before I round off, I want people to know we met through a conference where we paid almost $200. I can't remember how much we paid.
Yeah, the next
Yes, I met Emeka on the same conference. I met quite a lot of people. Now, if you're on this call, and like Sheyi said, all you're looking for is a free thing. It's okay, we'll give free, but no matter what, I started this conference yesterday by saying the world in which we are is transactional in nature. You give something to get something. The world will never survive if the transactions do not go on. So please, don't say how much is $10. And I'm sure because you're on this call, you could actually have the freedom to talk to her and how you want to get it paid, right? So if you find value you want, do the investment. And the best investment you can do is in yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? There was one year, I've forgotten the year, but it's been a long time, like 7-8 years ago. I was watching a video on CNN. They were interviewing people in Iran about Christmas. About Christmas. Now, at the back end of the guy that they were interviewing, there was this store. I think they sell books. I don't know what they sell in that store, but there was an inscription there, and I've never forgotten that inscription. That inscription says, as a matter of fact, because I pay attention to details, so I wasn't even listening to only what was being said. I was looking at the background, which was not even part of what they were talking about. But I saw the inscription by a store on the other side of the road, and that inscription says, "The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you."
Boom.
Which means whatever you've learned, it cannot be taken away from you. You can take my book, you can take my system, but whatever I've learned, you can't take it away. And
Absolutely.
it's been 5 hours of learning since yesterday. We did 2 hours yesterday. We are doing
okay,
3 hours.
sorry to even question, just to add to that. And when we talk about learning, you have not learned if you have not been able to do the thing that what you learned taught you. Until you are able to do it, you have not learned it. So don't even get tired of like, I've heard it before. Hearing it is not the same as learning it. It's like driving. And now if you like go to the school of driving, and if you do enter a car to
and
move
hold
it,
that steering,
it's not, you cannot say, in fact, even at that you are driving, if you are in a city and you cannot move around in that city without GPS, you don't know the city. You don't know the city.
Absolutely.
So even when it comes to, and that's why like we cannot stop to learn. We can learn the same thing over and over again until we are able to really express it, apply it. We have not learned it. So for everything you've learned here today, please take action.
EJ, thank you. EJ, thank you. You know, yesterday, through yesterday alone, I think we have almost 200 people that have gone back to view the video yesterday. And the conference we did last year, for almost 10 months, I think there were only 188 people that viewed it.
Oh,
so you can see the difference. You can see the difference, right? So I'm trusting God that a lot of people will watch this later and they will get in touch with you. And yes, they will be transformed by the things you speak.
Thank you. Transformation. Let them be transformed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we're here for you. Always
Absolutely.
Come. We're here to
thank
serve.
you so much. So
thank you so much.
Rosan, I want to say thank you. Femi Farumbi, thank you, sir. Thank you. You were here yesterday. You were here. You are here all through today. Debbie Rian, it's been a long time. Thank you. Thank you. Doza Anulua, but thank you for being part of the volunteers, the push and all that. Gaudi Tunde, thank you so much. Who else is there that I've not called their name? So I want to say thank you to everybody for joining this. Remember, Nagel Honors, thank you. You were here yesterday as well. Remember what I said. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. What you've learned, please, you need to put it to use, right? On my page, there will be the link in my bio, which you can go back to watch these videos again and again and again. I'm going to put the details of my of all the speakers on my page so that you can get in touch with them. I really want a change in your business, in your project, in your life as a whole, right? So I want to say thank you to everyone that has joined us. It's been an amazing time since yesterday. I want to say thank you to Iwale. He's at the back end. He has helped us to set up everything. He was the one pulling off the slides, making sure that you guys can hear us and can see us clearly. Iwale, I want to say thank you to you. Iwale is a digital strategist. He helps. If you have events like this, he could help you set it up, the publicity, everything. He could do all that for you at Token, right? So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. And we are going to be back here next year for the Startup Conference 2024. By then, they are going to be 1,000 times bigger than this. I trust God. Good night, everyone.